Mu saw the images of humans come to life, vividly real. There was no depiction of Manhwa creating humans from clay. Touching the surface of the painting, Qin felt a smooth, sleek texture, completely different from the usual rough stone carvings. The civilization that created these paintings was incredibly advanced, beyond comprehension. He marveled silently to himself. The third painting depicted Manhwa and Fuxi in divine majesty. Qin suddenly recalled the previous painting, where the monstrous energy of the divine beast seemed to emanate from a mysterious dark sun. A terrifying thought flashed through his mind. Could it be that Manhwa and Fuxi plotted to steal that dark power to empower humanity? He recognized several figures who seemed to have participated in this conspiracy. Moving to the fourth painting, Qin stammered in horror. This is... Before him was a horrifying scene, humanity enslaved, reduced to food for ferocious beasts. He felt utterly confused and bewildered. Why would humanity, even after obtaining the dark power, not only were they unable to fight back against the divine beast, but they were also utterly defeated? Jia Rong sighed, lamenting, "Humans are so weak, enslaved by hundreds of demon clans, treated like delicious food. If it weren't for the grace and protection of our ancestor god, humanity would have been extinct long ago." Qin Shin thought to himself, if an ancestor god truly exists in this world, then these paintings must have been left behind by them. "Yin Qin, come over here and look," Jia Rong called out. "Isn't this how you're fishing for Lulu?" Qin was surprised to see the painting depict a scene of someone fishing with a line. But there was more. The painting also showed a group of people using a wooden drill to create fire, crafting tools from stone, and developing the wilderness, farming, raising livestock, and hunting with bows and arrows. Qin quickly realized that this was an illustration of human civilization during the Stone Age. He felt like he was witnessing the evolution of mankind. Through each vivid stroke, Qin's voice was full of curiosity as he asked Jia Rong, could it be that the tribes in this era don't have any knowledge of farming and animal husbandry? Hearing this, a look of confusion appeared in Jia Rong's eyes. It seemed she didn't understand what farming and animal husbandry were at all. Qin felt utterly bewildered and perplexed. What in the world is going on? The other images on the stone wall showed that human civilization had at least entered the Stone Age. Yet, the current tribes are still living by hunting and gathering. Without hesitation, Qin rushed forward to observe the remaining 6 murals, hoping they could help him find answers to the questions in his heart. The 7th mural depicted people gathered together, weapons in hand, united against the attack of ferocious beasts. The 8th mural portrayed a fierce battle between humans and a pack of savage beasts. The 9th mural depicted the progenitor of this world engaged in a ferocious battle to rise up against the tyranny of the ferocious divine beasts. The 10th step depicted the valiant ancestor facing off against the humans, who had become loyal servants of the divine beasts, granted terrifying dark powers. Qin, utterly astonished by the enduring war between humanity and the divine beasts. It seemed that after humanity discovered the secret of fire, learning to control and utilize it, they began to harbor a rebellious spirit, determined to overthrow the divine beast's reign. With their superior numbers, humanity launched a powerful counteroffensive, but the divine beast didn't stand idly by. They tempted and seduced a small faction of humanity into darkness, granting them wicked, dark abilities, plunging humanity into a vortex of internecine warfare. And it seemed this bloody conflict had yet to reach its conclusion, but continued to rage even to this day. Qin suddenly thought of the dark forces that often lurked in the shadows, wondering if it was the mysterious power of evil sorcerers. He glanced at Jia Rong meaningfully, silently wondering, could it be that the power of the sorcerers originates from the mythical creatures of the Shanhai Jing? Isn't that the mysterious black sun? Seeing Jia Rong approaching, Qin quickly called him over to admire the remaining murals together. The 11th mural unfolded before Qin's eyes, depicting a figure bathed in radiant light, standing atop a majestic platform. Below, 9 figures knelt in reverence, each offering a precious treasure. The central figure, armed with powerful and imposing weapons, led humanity in the fight against ferocious beasts. The 12th mural depicted the legend of Ho shooting down the 9 scorching suns. Looking at these images, Qin felt a sense of unease, a foreboding premonition. If his earlier speculations were correct, then these two paintings depicted the first sorcerers to appear in the world. They stood alongside humanity, joining forces to create bronze weapons. And from then on, the fierce war between mythical beasts and humans officially erupted. Qin felt increasingly bewildered and confused. What exactly happened in this mysterious world? Who was the ultimate victor in this earth-shattering battle? Why did the story conclude with He shooting down the sun? Moreover, legend says He only shot down 9 suns. But why did Qin witness him obliterate all 10? Where did the light illuminating the outside world come from? Countless questions swirled in Qin's mind. Suddenly, the surrounding light dimmed and vanished into darkness. Qin's confusion deepened when he heard Jiao Rong exclaim that they were running out of time to study the mural. Under the flickering oil lamp in Jiao Rong's hand, Qin looked up through a crack in the ceiling and was horrified to see 10 black suns looming in the night sky. He thought to himself, 10 pitch-black suns in the dark of night. What's going on? Jiao Rong also looked up, his voice dropping to a somber tone. The black sun, the eternal night, is about to fully awaken. Qin listened, completely lost. Just then, the ground beneath them began to violently tremble. Caught off guard, Qin stumbled, nearly plummeting into the abyss. Luckily, Jiao Rong reacted swiftly, reaching out and grabbing him just in time. Her panicked voice rang out, "Hold tight. Quick, climb up." In their frantic struggle for survival, Jiao Rong accidentally spilled a few drops of black oil onto the ground. Both of them froze in astonishment as a vein of precious salt mineral appeared before their eyes. Qin exclaimed in delight, This is a salt mineral vein." He urged Jiao Rong, "Quickly, before the earthquake hits, we need to mine this." Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed in Qin's ears. Horrifying shrieks emanated from the deep, dark pit below, torturing his eardrums. The sound was so piercing that Qin clamped his hands over his ears. But it was useless. The haunting sounds continued to assault him, making him feel like his head was about to explode. "Damn it! Stop calling me!" Qin roared madly, a surge of immense power suddenly erupting within him. "Yan Qin!" Jiao Rong screamed in terror. A voice laced with worry rang out as Qin swung his fist directly at Jiao Rong's head. Qin's fist abruptly stopped just inches from Jiao Rong's face. It was the old man's timely cry that pulled Qin from the illusion gripping his mind. Qin turned to Jiao Rong in a daze, frantically saying he'd heard cries for help coming from the thick fog. Jiao Rong gently shook his head, explaining that Qin had misheard. As he helped Qin up from the ground, the tremor finally stopped. Qin stood firmly on his feet, completely still. Jiao Rong gravely warned Qin that in this world of endless night, under the influence of dark and evil forces, he was susceptible to illusions. Qin needed to learn to distinguish between reality and illusion, pointing towards the salt mineral deposits. Qin suggested they quickly gather them. Hearing this, Jiao Rong immediately cast a spell. He quickly swept all the salt ore into his large sleeves. Qin stood beside him, observing. A greedy glint flickered in his eyes. He muttered, "This Qianquan sleeve is truly convenient. What a rare treasure." Jiao Rong suddenly turned around, his face serious as he said to Qin, "This ruin is unstable. Chaotic energy is surging. We need to leave here immediately before it's too late." Suddenly, Jiao Rong cried out, his eyes wide with terror as he stared ahead. The thick fog ahead began to dissipate. His voice trembled with uncertainty. "What's happening?" Jiao Rong explained to Qin. "That strange black oil, it dissolved the fog that sealed this place." Qin bent down for a closer look, discovering rows of frozen ice statues scattered everywhere. He realized with horror that those trapped in the ice still seemed to cling to life. Jiao Rong looked down, his voice calm, but laced with worry, and said to Qin, "Don't move. Don't go near them. They're all valiant warriors from great tribes and powerful sorcerers." He seemed to know something about these frozen figures. Suddenly, Jiao Rong yelled in a panic, "It's not good. Run. Run now. We shouldn't have come here." This was a terrible mistake. Just as they were about to leave, they were startled by the sudden appearance of a breathtakingly perfect stone statue of a woman. It materialized right in front of them. A strange, dark, and ominous aura emanated from the stone figure. Qin screamed in terror. "Jiao Rong." He watched in horror as Jiao Rong's chest was pierced by a fatal blow from the stone woman. Jia Rong collapsed, his body as still as the stone statue itself. The brutal attack had completely sealed his magical power. The oil lamp in his hand fell to the ground, black oil spreading across the floor. Qin trembled, his body ice cold. Terror seized him as he saw a grotesque and monstrous female ghost appear beside him. The spectral figure glided swiftly past his back. Qin's face paled, and he stammered in fear. Is that a ghost? He watched the demonic figure float towards the stone woman. Fear surged within Qin. He wondered, could there really be ghosts on this terrifying night? And is that a woman in red? Are we gonna die here? The woman in red slowly merged into the stone statue. Qin Shun exclaimed in astonishment. This is absurd. It's completely inexplicable. Fragments from the stone statue scattered everywhere, as if detonated by a terrifying energy within. The vengeful figure of the woman in red suddenly materialized, causing Jia Yong to scream in terror. Qin Shun run. His voice trembled with horror. Everyone below. She's killed them all. Qin Shun thought desperately. Where can I possibly run? This terrifying ghost took down Jia Yong with a single move. How can I possibly stand against her? His gaze suddenly landed on the flickering oil lamp on the ground. Without hesitation, Qin Shun reached out to grab the lamp. Suddenly, a wave of dark mist surged forward, engulfing him. Qin Shun cried out in pain. The woman in red raised her foot, intending to crush the fragile oil lamp. But instantly, a protective ring of light emanated from the lamp, blocking the ghost's murderous foot. The flame within the lamp flared fiercely. Qin Shun watched in terror as the ghost's eyes widened, filled with rage. An earth-shattering explosion threw Qin Shun back. He realized with horror that the lamp had been destroyed, its faint light finally extinguished. A vague suspicion arose in Qin's heart. Hadn't Jia Rong asserted that the lamplight wouldn't be violated by the encroaching darkness? Where did this female ghost suddenly appear from? With a single kick, she extinguished the flickering flame. The very moment the light vanished, Qin was horrified to see an eerie, dark fog spreading, quickly enveloping and entangling him. A ghostly voice echoed ominously. Another lost soul. The dark fog relentlessly swirled around Qin, its savage howls throwing his mind into utter chaos and confusion. The darkness condensed into terrifying, jet-black arms, tightly squeezing his hands. Terror surged within Qin as countless more dark arms materialized, immobilizing his entire body. A haunting voice whispered in his ear, "Repent for your sins. This is a gift from the darkness. Embrace the soul-cleansing ritual." The eerie fog completely enveloped Qin. He realized with agonizing clarity that he was utterly helpless, unable to move even an inch to escape the darkness's grip. The female ghost glided forward, her movements eerily graceful. Each spectral step caused the ground to freeze over with alarming speed. In her flowing red dress, the ghost advanced towards Qin, each step a deadly curse. Qin's feet were trapped in the icy grip of the spreading frost. A deadly chill rapidly crawled upwards, encasing him. Terror welled up inside Qin. He realized the ghost's cruel intention, to turn him into a frozen statue. The ghost stopped right beside him, her icy breath grazing his neck. Her voice cut through the air, cold and menacing. "Sinner, you deserve to die." As the frost crept across his face, Qin Gon fought to stay calm, thinking to himself, what kind of hellish joke is this? I don't want to die. I have to find a way out. I must. Qin rallied his will. I can't give up. Meanwhile, Jia Dung was engulfed in a dark aura, pinned helplessly to the ground. He struggled to break free, desperate to save Qin, but to no avail. The bone-chilling cold permeated Qin's body, freezing him solid. In despair, Qin screamed silently into the void. I refuse to die here. I absolutely cannot die here. My people are waiting for my return. I carry the burden of protecting the national treasure, the late emperor's final wish. Qin's eyes were bloodshot, veins bulging like a spiderweb. He roared in desperation, I can't die. I won't die. A blazing blue fire erupted from Qin's body, throwing the female ghost back. The female ghost was completely stunned by the sudden burst of power from the boy. Impossible. He broke through my black ice. Qin's entire body blazed with an overwhelming aura of fire. His voice boomed with authority and confidence. A lingering ghost like you, dead for so long, dares to act so arrogant before me? Jia Rong was utterly terrified. He realized the darkness surrounding him was receding. Terror welled up within him at the power of the flames engulfing Qin, a fire so powerful it could suppress even the darkness. Qin carefully observed, searching for an opening in the female ghost's defenses. He knew that at his current strength, this ghost was incredibly dangerous. A direct confrontation would almost certainly lead to his death. Qin had to quickly find a way to relight the flickering oil lamp. Only then would he and Jia Rong have any hope of escaping this place alive. Qin unleashed a burst of flame, creating a blinding flash of fire to distract the female ghost. When she recovered and looked back, Qin had vanished without a trace. It turned out Qin had only used a diversion tactic to mislead her. He was actually racing towards the extinguished oil lamp. The lamp was only inches from Qin's grasp. Too late. The female ghost used instantaneous teleportation to appear directly in front of him. The forceful impact sent Qin flying backward. He crashed into the stone wall behind him, causing it to crumble into pieces. Qin cried out in pain, a mouthful of blood spraying from his lips. The female ghost swiftly lunged forward, her bony fingers tightening around Qin's throat. She leaned close to his face, her voice menacing. I can't believe a mere mortal like you could break my power. Qin showed no fear, responding with a defiant tone. I can not only break your power, but I can also shatter this spatial barrier you created. The female ghost, enraged, tightened her grip on Qin's throat even more. Qin's throat was quickly enveloped in a layer of ice. Fear filled his heart as he thought, does this demoness really intend to turn me into an ice statue? The demoness stared intently at Qin, her voice laced with suspicion. Where do you come from? His throat constricted. Qin struggled to choke out, Planet M78. Qin's answer completely bewildered the demoness. Seizing the moment of her stunned silence, Qin unleashed a burst of fiery power, blasting her away while roaring. I am Ultraman, sent here to save the world. A mysterious mask covered half of Qin's face, radiating an immense energy that enveloped his entire body. Qin's voice boomed with confidence. My name is Yen Qin. I am not a criminal, nor am I deserving of death, and I fear no demon or monster. The demoness stood frozen, her gaze fixed on Qin, or more precisely, on the mask upon his face. Her voice choked as she uttered cryptic words. Is it you? It can't be. It is you. Despite not understanding what was happening, Qin resolutely retaliated. Immediately, Qin lunged forward, delivering a thunderous punch to the female ghost's face. His voice filled with rage, he roared, I am your beloved father. Qin's merciless punch sent the female ghost crashing headfirst into the ground, sending dust and debris flying. Qin glanced at the oil lamp, lying forlornly on the ground. He picked it up. The light flared, illuminating the surrounding area. Jia Deng spoke up, informing Qin that the seal on his spiritual power had been broken. Watching the female ghost slowly approaching, Jia Deng warned Qin to be cautious. Qin warily stared at the female ghost, waiting to see what she would do next. The red-clad female ghost now seemed to have completely changed, no longer possessing the ferocious cruelty she had before. She cast a gentle gaze towards Qin, as if looking at a long-lost acquaintance. Her eyes held a myriad of unspoken emotions. Suddenly, the female ghost's figure began to drift backward. Both Jia Deng and Qin were astonished by the ghost's sudden change. Qin spoke with a skeptical tone. Could it be that I frightened her out of her wits? As she retreated, the ghost suddenly turned her head to look at Qin, uttering a cryptic sentence. You shouldn't have come here. It's not the right time yet. It's about to awaken. Both Jia Deng and Qin were stunned, unable to understand the meaning of the ghost's words. Qin had a feeling that the ghost seemed to recognize him. Could I resemble her lover from when she was alive? Qin gasped as he saw his reflection in the icy surface. It turned out that all this time he had been completely unaware that he was wearing a mysterious mask. His gaze inadvertently fell upon a mural on the cave wall. Qin suddenly realized something strange. The mysterious mask on his face was identical to the drawing on the ancient mural. After carefully observing the mural depicting the mask on the cave wall, Qin became even more convinced it was the same mask that was currently on his own face. As Qin withdrew his blazing flame power, the mask on his face gradually faded into thin air. While helping Jia Rong to his feet, Qin wondered how the woman in red had the power to extinguish the oil lamp. Jia Rong didn't know how to respond, because after all these years, He had never witnessed or heard of any dark creature capable of extinguishing an oil lamp so mysteriously. Suddenly, the ground beneath them began to shake violently. They both suspected an earthquake had just occurred. Qin was deeply puzzled as strange, unfamiliar sounds echoed in his ears. They're coming. They're coming. A massive horde of wraiths suddenly materialized above the two of them. Qin, he noticed the abrupt appearance of these wraiths, and since they might be targeting them, he looked up, observing carefully. A look of astonishment washed over his face as he saw the wraiths closing in. Suddenly, the other two turned and fled for their lives. Qin, he was puzzled by their actions. He couldn't understand what could possibly frighten these mindless spirits so much. Above, 3 colossal wraiths hovered in the air. They seemed to be taking orders from some unknown force. Their eyes glowed with a ferocious intensity. Fixed on the 2 humans below, they joined the rest of the wraiths, leading the entire horde downwards. Qin Yi's voice, laced with doubt, questioned Jia Rong. Are they coming towards us? Jia Rong shook her head in denial, believing that the wraiths were merely scattering in panic after being disturbed. Watching the horde of ferocious ghosts closing in, Jia Dong was horrified to realize they were heading straight for them. He urgently yelled at Tan to get away. He would personally destroy these stubborn lost souls. But then he was startled to see that Tan had already run far away. That little rascal is fast. Jia Dong cursed Tan under his breath. Seeing the ghosts closing in, Jia Dong immediately brandished his staff, unleashing his signature move, Black Crow Illusion. 7 illusory black crows materialized, swooping down to attack and tear apart the ghosts. Witnessing the scene before him, Jia Dong's eyes widened in horror as he saw the ghosts slowly regenerating, completely unharmed. He realized with dread that these creatures were indestructible. Seeing such a massive swarm of ghosts, a massive sea of lost souls surged towards the old man. Hope filled his heart. He was sure this time he would be reunited with his ancestors. But what happened next was beyond belief. The lost souls simply drifted past him without stopping. What's happening? Jia Rong cried out in alarm. Meanwhile, Qin frantically searched for a safe hiding place. He confidently thought that with the lantern in his hand, no evil force would dare attack him. However, he was utterly confused when he heard Jia Rong's warning shout. "Look out," she screamed. "Be careful." Turning around, Qin was horrified to see the malevolent spirits charging straight at him. "Isn't the lantern supposed to protect me?" he yelled in despair. "Why are they coming after me?" It seems the lost souls are attracted to a strange energy, emanating from the mysterious jade pendant at the entrance to Dongshan. Jia Rong's voice rang out, filled with frustration. "These undead are completely mindless. They can't distinguish between the living and the dead. You must have accidentally touched something taboo." Qin, while desperately fleeing the lingering ghosts, vehemently denied it. "I swear from the moment I stepped in here, I haven't touched a single thing, not even a blade of grass or a speck of dust." What could he have possibly taken? As he was escaping the hungry horde, the ground suddenly trembled violently. Qin looked down in terror. Witnessing the earth crack into countless fragments, he cried out in despair. What kind of karmic retribution is this? Qin's face paled. A scream ripped through the air as the ground beneath him abruptly surged upwards. The ravenous ghosts, like a pack of wild wolves, closed in mere inches away. Qin frantically lit the lamp in his hand, unleashing a blinding light, hoping to ward off the evil spirits. "Get back! Stay away!" he shrieked in a panic, his face ashen. Just as all hope seemed lost, the rock Qin was clinging to suddenly cracked and plummeted into the abyss. He reacted with lightning speed, spinning around, mustering all his strength to kick off his perch and launch himself towards the adjacent rock. Agile as a squirrel, Qin leaped across the shattered rocks. Suddenly, he realized he was standing at the edge of a precipice. Below him was a deep, dark abyss. Without hesitation, Qin mustered all his strength and jumped toward the opposite ledge. But his reach fell short. His fingers grasped at the rock face just beyond his reach. His limbs flailed desperately. It seemed no miracle could save Qin from his precarious situation. No, impossible. Qin screamed in terror as he felt himself plummeting into the depths. In that moment of sheer desperation, a light emanated from the lamp in his hand, making Qin stammer in astonishment. What in the world is this? Just at the brink of death, A clawed foot suddenly shot out, snatching Qin's shirt. Pulling him back from the abyss, it was Jiao. He was riding on the back of a gigantic black yak. He had arrived just in time to save Qin's life. Like a seasoned beast tamer, Jiao commanded the black yak to charge forward. Having narrowly escaped the relentless pursuit of the ghostly horde, Qin Wan was still reeling from the sight of the colossal monster he had just witnessed. He wondered what kind of demon it could possibly be. "We've been here for so long. Have we been on its back this whole time?" Jiao Rong replied coldly. "You're asking me? Do you think I've ever seen it before?" Qin Wan cried out in terror, "Mother!" as he saw a gigantic mouth with razor-sharp teeth hurtling straight towards them. "Hold on tight," Jiao Rong yelled a warning. With her seasoned experience, Jiao Rong steered He through the air with incredible agility, narrowly dodging the monster's ferocious lunge. Having missed its prey, the monster glared at them with blood-red eyes as they flew away. Hearing Jiao Rong mention the monster was eating, Qin Wan curiously looked back and was utterly horrified to witness its enormous mouth devouring the ghostly swarm. Qin's soul, trapped within the monster's belly, cried out in terror at the horrific sight. Lost souls were being devoured by the creature. Suddenly, Qin noticed something strange in the monster's mouth, far in the distance. A massive stone door materialized out of thin air. Jiao Rong exclaimed in a skeptical tone as the bronze gate opened. The two colossal stone doors slowly creaked open, revealing a mysterious space beyond. Qin stood frozen, his gaze fixed on the opening stone door. A voice called out to Jiao Rong, "Were those things?" Before him stood an imposing army of colossal stone statues. Each statue bore a terrifyingly fierce expression. Jiao Rong explained, "They're called the stone demon gods." Looking closely at the statues, Qin felt a sense of familiarity, especially when he saw the three-eyed statue. He instantly recognized it as Erlang Shun Yangjian. He also spotted the statue of Neza, with his 3 heads and 6 arms, radiating majestic power. Qin couldn't help but wonder, why are these deities appearing in this dark world? He was completely baffled by the events unfolding in this mysterious, eternal night. Classic of mountains and seas. Ancient civilizations, long lost to the mists of time, had unexpectedly resurfaced in this place. Suddenly, Qin recalled the strange murals within the stone cave. A thought sparked in his mind. Those murals seemed to depict not only tales from the classic of mountains and seas, but also hinted at legends of the investiture of the gods. Qin gradually began to unravel the mysteries that plagued him. There were a total of 12 murals within the ruins. The first 6 fell under the domain of the classic of mountains and seas, but from the 7th mural onward, he can no longer find any resemblance to the classic of mountains and seas. The content of the latter murals clearly pertained to the investiture of the gods. Qin felt a deep sense of bewilderment. Why would a primitive world like this possess tales of the investiture of the gods? The historical and scientific knowledge he had learned made his head spin. Countless questions flooded his mind. If the great war of the investiture of the gods was truly a battle between humans and mythical beasts, so who was the final victor? Why were those deities imprisoned within the belly of that colossal beast? Qin suddenly recalled the ancient mural, the image of the enigmatic masked god and the hero Ho shooting down the 9 suns. He began to wonder, could this world have once harbored a glorious ancient civilization? If such a brilliant civilization truly existed, why did it vanish without a trace? Why did 10 scorching suns appear in the eternal darkness? Qin yearned to know what catastrophic events this world had endured. The two were rushing towards the exit, when suddenly Jiao Rong's eyes widened in terror as she called out Qin's name. Before he could understand what was happening, Qin quickly looked up. The sight before him filled Qin with absolute horror. Thousands upon thousands of screaming lost souls were surging towards them like a flood. 5 days later, Qin and Jiao Rong successfully brought the salt back to the Yin tribe. Qin sat with everyone, leisurely savoring the delicious taste of the food in his hands. He pondered how quickly time had passed. 5 days passed like a fleeting dream. Just days after returning from the oppressive darkness, Jiarong quickly retrieved the precious salt mineral. Qin diligently taught the tribe the technique of salt-curing meat for preservation. After 5 days of meticulous preparation, the first batch of cured meat was personally inspected by the Grand Elder. He took one bite and expressed immense satisfaction. During the grand feast celebrating the successful jerky production hosted by the Yan tribe to honor Qin's achievement, Qin and Jiarong were both present. However, something still weighed heavily on Qin's mind, something even Jiarong couldn't explain, before they luckily escaped the eternal night and returned to the protective influence of the sacred totem pole. They were relentlessly pursued by a horde of ferocious wraiths. Only after setting foot within the Yin tribe's territory, just as Jiarong had mentioned, did the evil creatures lurking in the darkness, upon nearing the radiant aura of the totem pole, instantly disintegrate into ashes, despite the pouring rain. Yet the jade pendant in Qin's hand remained perfectly intact, showing no signs of damage. It seemed isolated from the outside world, completely unaffected. Qin began to suspect that it was an extraordinary treasure. Meanwhile, Qin stealthily glanced at Qin with probing eyes. She asked Jiarong about his impression of Qin. Jiarong readily praised Qin, extolling him as a man of exceptional intelligence. Not only that, but he also possessed extraordinary courage, remarkable talent, and natural gifts. Qin was stunned when Qin made an unexpected offer. She wanted him to return with her to the Qing Man tribe. This proposal was utterly astonishing. It shocked Aaron and the Grand Elder so much that they jumped out of their seats. The surrounding tribesmen thought they had misheard. The Grand Elder lowered his voice excitedly and said to Aaron, "Only the most exceptionally talented young men have the opportunity to join the great tribe." Aaron replied immediately, "This is a direct invitation from Medaka to Qin." The Grand Elder heartily slapped Qin on the back, nearly knocking the wind out of him. Then, he and Aaron enthusiastically tried to persuade Qin to accept Medaka's invitation. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that absolutely cannot be missed. At this moment, Qin was deep in thought. The Yin tribe had just absorbed 2 more tribes, the Lin and the Nu, causing our warriors to suffer incredibly heavy losses, all under the cruel hand of that evil priest. He felt that leaving the tribe at this time was not a wise decision at all. But with Qin as a strong foundation, everything would be perfect. Qin could wholeheartedly focus on improving his own abilities without having to worry about anything. Qin glanced at Qin, a sudden idea flashing through his mind. He yearned to join but couldn't immediately agree, because doing so would diminish his own worth. Qin stood up and walked in front of Qin, his voice firm but filled with self-reproach. "I take full responsibility for the sacrifice of our tribesmen," Qin stated, "at the hands of that brutal priest. Currently, the tribe is severely lacking in both warriors and resources. How can I leave with peace of mind? That cunning old man is plotting something with Qin to seek more resources for the Yin clan." Qin repeatedly beat his chest, his voice filled with endless remorse. "I couldn't fight alongside everyone. This time, I can't abandon you all." Qin was truly a master of acting, a talented performer. His words deeply moved the clan members. Everyone's eyes welled up with tears. Witnessing the clan's excitement, Qin secretly smiled with hidden meaning. This was the atmosphere he desired, an atmosphere brimming with brotherhood. In his heart, Qin rejoiced, thinking, "Qin will surely bestow upon me priceless treasures." But outwardly, he still expressed a strong desire to stay with the Yin clan. The clan's unexpected reaction startled Qin. Qin seemed somewhat displeased with Qin's desire to stay with the Yin clan, missing the opportunity to join a stronger tribe. Seeing this, Qin quickly spoke up, "That's not what I meant. I just want to stay a little longer." Suddenly, Qin felt as if he had been struck hard by something as hard as rock. It turned out Cui and Yin had overheard Qin's decision. Overcome with emotion, Tan burst into tears and rushed to embrace Qin. Fortunately, Qin didn't have any unpleasant body odor. Otherwise, this intimate moment would have been incredibly awkward. Tan gradually regained her composure. Qin's lie made her look at him in a completely different light. After everything she had witnessed, Tan knew she hadn't misplaced her trust. Qin truly was a righteous warrior, a true hero. Hearing Medaka praise Qin, the Yin people were deeply moved by the young man's heart. Everyone was touched to tears. Qin really wanted to cry. He hadn't anticipated this turn of events. At this moment, everyone gathered around, lifting Qin onto their shoulders and cheering loudly. Looking towards Qin, the young chief spoke. Yin Qin, you are a brave warrior worthy of respect. I will not make things difficult for you. I will give you 3 years. 3 years from now, I will return for you. At that time, you must come with me. Qin spoke up hurriedly. 3 long years. Why can't he leave right now? But Qin's words were quickly drowned out by the roaring cheers of the tribesmen. Qing was stunned to see Li kneeling before her. Please allow me to follow the Qing man tribe to train myself. Qing suddenly realized Li was the young warrior of the tribe. From this year's autumn hunt, Jiarong, standing beside her, also spoke up in praise of Li. She said that Li had seen through the Lin tribe's sinister plot and bravely stood against the cunning shaman. This boy has extraordinary potential. Li cried out excitedly, Huga. With Madaka's approval, the young man knew he would officially depart tomorrow. The next day, sitting on the roof, Qin watched the Qing man tribe's warship slowly disappear into the distance. The young man sighed dejectedly. As expected, a grown bird will eventually leave the nest. Jumping down from the roof, Qin regained his composure and said to the little panda beside him, Looks like we have to rely on ourselves for the next 3 years. The mystical knowledge from the box passed down by the demon god had been neatly reorganized by Qin. He realized it was a manual for cultivating profound martial arts. Qin thought to himself, the next 3 years will be the perfect time for me to focus on cultivating this incredible manual. Perhaps this is the secret technique passed down from some legendary master. As Qin diligently practiced the fist techniques from the manual, Guo Bao mimicked each of Qin's movements. It let out a squeal and threw its tiny fist forward. Seeing Qin execute a kick, Guo Bao followed suit, raising its chubby little leg high. Qin noticed Guo Bao frolicking around him, making it impossible for him to concentrate on his training. He gave a gentle kick, pushing it away. A vibrant green flame blazed fiercely in Qin's hand. He jokingly threatened to turn Guo Bao into a delicious roasted panda. Suddenly, the jade pendant Qin had found in the darkness earlier, which he was wearing around his neck, flew towards the newly summoned green flame. Qin exclaimed in astonishment, This jade pendant, it's resonating with my blue flame. In a blink of an eye, the Hua jade pendant merged with the flame as if they were one. The mysterious mask reappeared on Qin's face, concealing his true appearance. The aura emanating from the mask intensified, carrying an unfathomable mystique. Time flew by like an arrow. In the blink of an eye, 3 years had passed. A tribesman from the trading tribe was frowning in frustration after having only wild fruits to sustain himself for days. Hearing this, his companion consoled him. Every year, the tribe distributes very little prey, but we are representatives of the trading tribe, participating in the autumn hunt. Before the official commencement of the gathering, we will surely be treated to a grand feast. Buontang called out to Ali, where he detected an enticing aroma wafting from afar. Buonli inhaled deeply and exclaimed, Someone is roasting meat. He couldn't understand which tribe possessed so much meat, while they had consumed all their reserves 10 days ago. Buondang urged his companion to come quickly and see. After a quick dash, the two spotted 2 figures sitting, casually grilling meat by a crackling fire. Buondang, with his sharp eyes, quickly recognized them as Yin Kuei and Yin Di of the Yin tribe. The 2 Buon tribe members were enraged to see their enemies leisurely, enjoying the aroma of grilled meat. Yin Kuei looked over, gestured in greeting, and invited them to share the special roasted leg. He said sarcastically, Famous Buon tribe warriors, living off wild berries, how can you have enough strength and nourishment? In the Yin tribe, he continued, life has significantly improved in the past 3 years, becoming much more prosperous and abundant, thanks to learning food preservation methods from Qin. No one has to worry about food shortages anymore. The great elder, who was eating, suddenly burst into laughter. Excitedly, he said, This year has truly been a bountiful harvest. Our stored food will definitely last until next winter. Aaron affirmed, It's all thanks to Qin's contributions. Yin agreed. Indeed, ever since we implemented the traps Qin taught us, every year, the Yin tribe enjoys a bountiful harvest filled with abundance. The elder proudly showed off the automatic fan that Qin had crafted specifically for him. With a gentle pull, the fan blades would whirl, dispelling the oppressive heat. A hunter also excitedly boasted that since Qin had taught him how to prepare herbal remedies, minor wounds were no longer a concern. Aaron added, Qin has gone with the young warriors to participate in the autumn hunt. They're probably nearing the Snow Wolf tribe's territory by now. Yin took a sip of wine and said calmly, "There's nothing to worry about. The Yin tribe has become a powerful tribe with a rising status. The spoils of each hunt are distributed more generously. Those young ones, now tempered by the outside world, will surely become much braver than before." The scene shifted to two merchants from another tribe. They were shouting angrily, "It's you lot again. Why do we run into you every year? You even dare to eat right in front of us." The two merchants left, not forgetting to throw in a provocative remark. "Don't mess with the Yin tribe." Chui spoke up warningly, his voice full of authority. "Stop. What do you have to say?" The aggressive merchant turned back, his face flushed with anger. "We're not satisfied with the Yin tribe's behavior. They've been hoarding the majority of the spoils from the autumn hunts these last few years." Yengu angrily declared their actions a blatant provocation. Yin, sitting beside her, wore a worried expression. "Our tribe is so impoverished, we barely survive by foraging for berries." Yan's words touched a raw nerve within the Bun tribe. Bunteng rored in frustration. If the Yin tribe weren't so greedy, taking all the game for themselves, then our Bun tribe wouldn't have to suffer through the bitter cold of every winter with so little. Yin Gu refused to back down, her voice rising in defiance. "The weak must accept their misfortune. Qin taught us that for a tribe to prosper, it must first have a large population." Yin Gu boasted that the Yin tribe now numbered over 180 people. Then, she taunted, "Can your Bun tribe even compare to us?" "No." Hearing Yan's words, the two Bun tribe members gasped and muttered curses under their breath. "Even with your large numbers, you're still just a low-ranking tribe. That is your greatest shame." She furiously grabbed Bun Lu by the collar. He roared, spit flying everywhere. "You dare call AI an inferior species? Powerless and unwilling to accept the humiliation." He roared back at the Yin tribe. "Your lot always end up at the bottom of the leaderboard in the autumn hunt." Back at the Yin tribe, after a few weeks of drinking, Aaron sighed, blaming himself for his weak leadership. For many consecutive years, their performance in the autumn hunt had been dead last. The Grand Elder consoled Aaron, softly saying, "Koi and DM received special training from Qin last year. Qin's abilities had improved tremendously over the past 3 years, reaching an astounding level." Recalling last year, Qin single-handedly defeated 4 foreign intruders attempting a sneak attack. If it weren't for Qin, the Yin tribe would have suffered heavy losses. That year, none of the beasts in Dongshan were a match for Qin. Moreover, Qin had ventured deep into Dongshan multiple times, emerged from a fierce battle with a beast in scathe. The Grand Elder placed absolute faith that under Qin's guidance, even the most inept could become exceptional talents. Aaron nodded, slightly in agreement, but a flicker of doubt remained in his heart. He wondered, what methods would Qin employ to train Kuei and Yinda? The elder waved his hand dismissively, signaling there was no need for concern. As long as the children showed progress, that was all that mattered. Little did he know that under Qin's tutelage, Kuei and Yinda's training involved terrifying trials that left them pale with fear. They pushed themselves to their limits to enhance their combat abilities. The two Buon tribesmen burst into laughter upon hearing Kuei and Yinda's bold declaration that this year, the Yin tribe would claim victory in the autumn hunt. Buon Deng sneered, pointing at Kuei with a mocking tone. "Have you forgotten the humiliation of the entire Yin tribe? All of you were single-handedly defeated by a tie, despite the stinging ridicule." Kuei and Yinda stood firm in their proclamation. "This year, the Yin tribe will definitely win the championship." Butang sneered sarcastically. For the past 3 years, the Yin tribe's warrior, Jiayu, has been nowhere to be seen. You want to rely on a coward, someone who doesn't even dare show his face, to claim first place. Buli loudly provoked and challenged, calling out the warrior Jiayu, declaring that if he dared to appear, he would turn him into a beast of burden for them to ride. Hearing the two Bu men relentlessly insulting Qin, Koi and DM were enraged, summoning their flame fire, ready to retaliate. Just then, in the distance, a group of devil eyes rushed forward with lightning speed, swiftly tying up the arrogant Bu men. The one who took action was none other than Lin Huan, son of the Lin tribe leader. The two Bu men screamed in desperation, "Who are you? Release us!" Suddenly, a dark figure appeared, revealing himself to be Xiao Bao. After 3 years, the little boy was still as adorable as ever. Koi and DM were astonished to see Guo Bao appear. Guo Bao quickly snatched the belts of the two Bu men and ran around with the belts in his hands. Two young men from the Bun tribe stood stark naked when Bundang suddenly noticed a strange object hanging around the panda's neck. He quickly gestured for Bun Luke to look. They both recognized the Jiayu medal proudly displayed on the panda's neck. Both men's jaws dropped in astonishment. Koi and DM simultaneously turned their heads towards the figure that had just appeared behind them. Lin Huan scolded, "I told you not to strip people naked in public." After 3 years of silence, a calm voice broke the tense atmosphere. "I hear you wish to see me. For the past few years, rumors have spread throughout the land of a Jiayu warrior among the Yin tribe, a warrior of extraordinary height. With 6 powerful arms, a mouth full of sharp, bloodthirsty fangs, and a ferociously violent nature. He also has a peculiar hobby of using the bodies of his defeated enemies to make wine. This warrior not only overcame the arduous trials of Shanghai Purgatory, but also single-handedly defeated the evil dark sorcerer. Even more terrifying, he once dared to venture into the land of eternal night and return safely." Witnessing the slender figure of the young man, seemingly frail enough to be swept away by a strong gust of wind, everyone was astonished. Wondang spoke with a skeptical tone, uttering the title of Brave Warrior Jiayu, a name that had been rumored throughout the land for a long time. Could it be the person everyone's been talking about is actually you? Won Luke didn't miss the opportunity to chime in sarcastically. This scrawny, weak kid, how could he possibly be the brave warrior Jiayu? Neither of the Buon men paid any mind to the yams swaying precariously in the wind, coldly mocking. "Your Yin clan, are you really going to rely on this frail little boy to stand against Buon Tai, our clan's brave warrior?" The mere mention of Buon Tai seemed to invigorate them, as they immediately began to boast. Buon Tai was the brave warrior who reached the top 10 last year. He was even rewarded with the sacred bull root. What did your Yin clan receive? A dried yam. Furthermore, for the past year, Buon Tai has been personally trained in martial arts by the Grand Elder. The two Buon tribesmen boasted confidently that with Buon Tai's arrival this year, their tribe would undoubtedly secure a spot in the top 3. They loudly threatened and demanded Qin to release them immediately, or else, when Buon Tai arrived, he would face utter humiliation. Just then, from afar, echoing cheers calling out Buon Tai's name could be heard. Both men smirked triumphantly, their eyes gleaming with arrogance. They believed that with Buon Tai's presence, those Yin tribe people wouldn't dare to act so arrogant in front of them anymore. Pushing their luck, they started to provoke the Yin tribe. "If you have the guts, come with us to meet Buon Tai." Hearing this, Kuei's blood boiled. "Fine, let's go. Who's afraid? Release me now, and let's see who should be afraid." The two Buon tribesmen hurried off to find Buon Tai, their faces filled with gleeful anticipation, as if waiting to witness the Yin tribe's downfall. Before them was a crowd gathered around something, squinting their eyes to see clearly. The two, who were just moments ago brimming with joy, suddenly froze in shock as they saw Buon Tai enraged, his hand summoning a totem spirit. Before he could launch an attack, from the sky above, a ferocious figure swung a giant club aiming straight for Buon Tai's head. The blow, carrying terrifying force, left Buon Tai with no time to react. He was sent flying backward, crashing hard into an ancient tree trunk. Qin, arriving at the scene, immediately questioned Buon Tai's two pale-faced subordinates. "Where's Buon Tai? Who is Buon Tai?" The two soldiers hesitantly pointed down at Qin's feet, trembling as they said Buon Tai was lying there. Qin looked down, spotting a large man lying motionless on the ground, his appearance pitiful. Too weak, the attacker spoke with a scornful tone. "I am Xiao Li of the Xiao tribe." His voice was filled with arrogance. "My younger brother hasn't even had his turn yet, and the so-called warrior of the tribe has already fallen so pathetically." With a single move, the girl perched on the tree let out a triumphant smile. Her name was Bai Ling Er. Xioli continued to spew insults. "Your Snow Wolf tribe, is your strength truly this pathetic? With skills this weak, you dare to participate in the autumn hunting assembly? Why not just hand them the first place and be done with it?" It turned out his group was blocking the path and provoking others. Anyone who passed by was attacked by them. Seeing the group from the Yin tribe approaching, Xioli sneered condescendingly. "The Yin tribe, last year's bottom dwellers, also want to cross this bridge?" The surrounding people also believed that. Even the Ben Tai tribe was no match for the Yin tribe, so their coming here was no different from seeking their own death. Xioli was filled with glee. relishing the thought of having more people to torment. He called for Xiong, ordering him to play with the 4 Yin tribe members himself. At this moment, within the Yin tribe, everyone wondered why Qin, the one who had repeatedly declined invitations to the autumn hunt, this year unexpectedly agreed. Aaron recalled each time he tried to persuade Qin to participate, he was refused, calling it a pointless endeavor. He even said he'd wait for Medaka to pick him up. Aaron Yin further explained. Last month, he personally went to the Snow Wolf tribe. That day, the Snow Wolf chieftain, Hakuro, entrusted his token to Yin to deliver to Qin, formally inviting him to attend. Aaron believed that with Qin's personality, even if Hakuro personally extended the invitation, he wouldn't be swayed. Yin took a sip of wine and slowly said, "To get Qin to act, we still have to rely on this old man." Yin had met with Qin and said that Hakuro, the esteemed chieftain of the Snow Wolf tribe, wanted to invite him to be an enforcement warrior, overseeing fairness and maintaining order throughout the autumn hunt. If Qin became an enforcement warrior, it would be a great honor for the entire Yin tribe. Qin listened, lost in thought, stroking his chin pensively. This meant he would hold the role of arbitrator, having the sole authority to decide the outcome of the assessment. He reveled in the feeling of absolute power in his hands. Moreover, Qin had been quite idle lately with nothing to do. A cunning glint flickered in his eyes as they lit up. He was determined to seize this opportunity to gain some benefits for his tribe. Witnessing Qin readily agree to take on the role of enforcement warrior, Yin stood beside him, secretly pleased with his scheme. It was even more effective than he had anticipated. That was how Yin had persuaded Qin. He knew that Qin was the most outstanding warrior of the tribe, and only glory and fame could sway him. The Grand Elder and Aaron both considered this good news. The Yin tribe finally had an enforcement warrior. Both were stunned to hear Yan's hesitant voice, confessing that he had deceived Qin. Aaron was horrified, considering this an extremely serious matter, because the enforcement warrior was the one who maintained fairness and order during the autumn hunt. This isn't something to be lied about so casually, especially. Yin remained calmly seated, sipping his wine, softly reassuring everyone, "Don't worry. I've instructed Qin to be cautious and humble in all matters. He certainly won't cause any trouble." Meanwhile, at the entrance to the Snow Wolf tribe, Xiao Li's arrogant voice rang out. "Want to fight one by one or all at once?" Scram. Qin coldly retorted, his indifferent tone as if shooing away flies. Those around him all believed that the Yin tribe was no match for the Xiao tribe, and even Bun Tai would struggle against these aggressive people. Bai Ling Er remained seated in her elevated position, calmly observing the events unfold as if watching a play. Being scolded by Qin in front of so many people, Xiao Li's face contorted with rage. His fierce eyes glared at him. Amidst the curious crowd, 2 law enforcement officers from the Snow Wolf tribe suddenly appeared. The mustache man quietly asked the blonde giant, "Is it necessary to stop those kids up ahead?" "Enforcer?" The blonde enforcer thought they were just children playing around. "If there's real danger, it won't be too late to intervene then." A gossipy underling from the merchant clan quickly pointed at Qin and shouted, "He's Yin Qin, the wandering warrior of the Yin clan." Hearing the name Yin Qin, the blonde enforcer froze in his tracks. He suddenly remembered that earlier, Hakuro Snow Wolf had ordered him to greet an important guest, also named Yin Qin. Looking Qin over, the blonde enforcer had a sudden realization. The person he was supposed to welcome was the wandering warrior of the Yin clan, the very person who, 3 years ago, had been bestowed a prestigious title by Medaka himself, Bai Ling Er. Xioli had long heard of Qin's reputation as the Jiayu warrior, but she didn't seem fazed. She believed that no matter how extraordinary his skills were, he wouldn't be able to handle 10 Lulu fish. Xioli strode towards Qin, her tone dripping with disdain. "So you're the Jiayu warrior, the one who's been hiding in the Yin clan for 3 years. I suppose you barely qualify as my opponent." Behind Xioli, a gigantic and powerful figure suddenly materialized. She gestured for Qin to approach, arrogantly wondering if this young man could withstand even a couple of her blows. Amidst the murmuring crowd, someone seemingly knowledgeable about the situation pointed at the apparition behind Xiao Li and explained, "That's the Tu Ling ancestral treasure, a sacred artifact passed down through generations of the Xiao clan." Xiao Li maintained her provocative and condescending tone as she looked at Qin. "Don't disappoint me. Chui, standing beside Yin, whispered a question. Is there really someone daring enough to challenge Qin? Yin signaled for Chui to be quiet, wanting to watch the unfolding drama. They both looked toward Xiao Li and said in unison, no need to be polite. If they were Li, they would definitely bring their entire army to attack Qin. Li, upon hearing this, flew into a rage, believing the two Yin tribe members were deliberately insulting him. His face darkened as he roared. How could a mighty deer warrior engage in a 3-on-1 fight? Today, I demand a duel with a brave warrior, Jia Du. Yin and Kuei exchanged glances, thinking to themselves, this Li is truly a fool. How could Li possibly defeat Qin alone? They both decided to lend a hand. Kuei, from behind, firmly held Qin in place and said to Li, we got him restrained. He can't fight back. Yin also chimed in, urging, go on, hit him square in the face. Don't hesitate. Their shouts further enraged Li. He roared furiously, no matter what tricks you're playing. Provoking the deer tribe is seeking your own death. With that, he swung his fist directly at Qin's face. Qin Fan stood his ground, unmoving, calmly watching Xiao's punch hurtle towards him. Xiao abruptly stopped mid-swing, his eyes fixated on the pristine white badge, being held up right in front of him. As he recognized the object in Chui's hand, his face paled, and his attack was immediately aborted. Chui, with a smug look on his face, clutched the badge tightly and sneered. The hell, why'd you stop? What's wrong? He then raised the badge high, his voice brimming with excitement. This is Hakuro's badge. Lord Hakuro himself invited Qin to join the enforcement team. This badge is undeniable proof. Xiao's eyes widened at the sight of the badge, as if they were about to pop out of their sockets. His face was ashen, drained of all color. Chui and Yin seized the opportunity to surround Qin Fan, their voices dripping with mockery. Well, weren't you all tough just now? What's stopping you now? If no blood is spilled today, consider us defeated. Amidst the silence, a thunderous roar echoed, making the crowd tremble in fear, not daring to breathe. Two imposing enforcers appeared. Suddenly recognizing them, someone exclaimed, it's Lord Lang Su and Lord Lang Fu. Could Qin actually be an enforcement warrior? Meanwhile, at the Yin clan, a worried voice spoke up. If Qin thinks he's an enforcement warrior and causes chaos at the hunting grounds, what are we going to do? Yin believes Qin is cautious. He won't let himself get into trouble. Furthermore, Yin has an agreement with Hakuro. He'll send someone to pick Qin up. When Qin arrives, Lord Hakuro's men will greet him. Yin believes any misunderstanding will be cleared up when they meet. There's nothing to worry about. However, events took an unexpected turn. Ling Su observed Qin, believing Hakuro had sent him as an escort to establish a friendly relationship between Qin and the enforcement team. Ling Su quickly stepped forward, extending his hand in a warm greeting. I'm Ling Su. He introduced himself, captain of the enforcement team. Welcome, Qin, to our ranks. The surrounding crowd's eyes widened, their jaws dropping in astonishment as Ling Su officially acknowledged Qin's identity, a traveling warrior, so young and already a member of the enforcement team. An odd AI voice chimed in. Meanwhile, Xiaolai clutched his head in distress, his face a mask of misery. The autumn hunt hadn't even started yet, and he'd already landed himself in trouble with the enforcement team. Talk about stepping in a pile of dog crap. A member of the Xiao clan, still wearing a wolfskin headdress, spoke up, trying to calm the situation. Easy there, don't get riled up. He glanced at Ling Er, awaiting a decision from the Bai clan girl. Ling Ni jumped to her feet, her face a mask of frustration at having missed the good part. Boring. If there's nothing interesting, I'm not watching anymore. Her eyes fixed on the figure ahead, where Guo Bao was leisurely, enjoying a large piece of dried meat. In the blink of an eye, Bai Ling Ni vanished from the tree branch, her speed astonishingly fast. Like a gust of wind, she appeared right behind Qin. Chui and Yin immediately retreated, forming a pincer attack around Qin. Their wary gazes were directed at the girl. The two mages of the Snow Wolf tribe were both stunned by Bai Ling Ni's extraordinary speed. They realized her strength was far from ordinary. Lang Su whispered to Lang Ying, have you noticed? Qin hasn't moved an inch this whole time. I think there are only two possibilities. 1. Qin couldn't react to that girl's terrifying speed. 2. He's too confident in his own abilities, and he completely underestimates her. Bai Ling Air glanced at Qin, a charming smile playing on her lips. She found this young man rather intriguing, different somehow. However, her true target on this trip wasn't Qin, but the tempting, fragrant piece of dried meat held firmly in Guo Bao's hand. Guo Bao looked bewildered, confused by the strange actions of this unfamiliar girl. She acted as naturally as if they were old friends, boldly asking for a taste of a treat in his hand. Qin spoke up, explaining, "I told you before we left, we should share good things with others." Guo Bao reluctantly broke off a tiny piece of meat, offering it to Bai Ling Air hesitantly, but she paid no attention to the small offering, her eyes glued to the large remaining piece in Guo Bao's hand. "Thank you," Bai Ling Air said, her hand snatching the larger piece with lightning speed. She brought it to her mouth, devouring it with gusto. Guo Bao, tears welling up in his eyes, could barely react before the ravenous girl had finished off his treat. After satisfying her craving, Bai Ling Air praised Qin Yu. "To remain so calm in my presence. You truly possess the demeanor of a seasoned Jia Du warrior." Qin Yu felt a bit awkward. He didn't understand why the Xiao clan members carried such an air of arrogance. They all firmly believed that Qin Yu was a worthy opponent, a true equal. Meanwhile, Guo Bao was fuming over by Ling Er's intimate head pat. The girl's voice dripped with playful provocation, completely unrestrained. "See you later, kid." As she left, without waiting for Qin to reply, she turned her head and said, "We should test our skills against each other sometime." "It's settled then." Qin watched her figure disappear into the distance and muttered to himself, "I never thought I'd meet such a peculiar woman." Yin noticed Guo Bao was tailing Bai Ling Air and quickly reported it to Qin. Qin replied calmly, "Don't worry, Guo Bao can handle himself." Yin pondered for a moment, then nodded in agreement. Ling Su stroked his warhorse while praising him. Qin is truly worthy of being the law enforcer chosen by Hakuro himself. With just a glance, he saw through those people's scheme. Ling Ying also chimed in, admitting his own incompetence, and that he had to rely on Qin to handle the situation. Hearing this, the Yin clan members standing behind them spoke up. "The Xiao clan are nothing but ants in our eyes." One clansman, looking up to Qin, shouted loudly, "Despicable Xiao clan." Qin possessed extraordinary strength, capable of single-handedly taking on 100 enemies. As the figures of the Xiao clan members faded into the mist, Lang Su spoke to Qin in a low voice. "The great tribes may appear peaceful on the surface, but beneath it all, they constantly vie for power. Never underestimate the Xiao clan. They are one of the 4 most powerful tribes of Bai Ling. This tour, with Bai Ling Air personally present, is likely more than just a show of force. It's also meant to intimidate and absorb the tribes subservient to Shuelang." The Kuei and Yin tribes listened to Lang Su's warning, but their hearts remained unburdened. Both placed their complete faith in Qin's exceptional abilities, firmly believing that with Qin present, all dangers would be neutralized. The most effective way to deal with a powerful enemy is to confront them head-on without fear. Only by using absolute strength to suppress them can they be truly subdued. Those around them sensed a palpable shift from the Yin tribe. From this moment forward, no one would dare underestimate the Yin tribe. The Yin tribe warriors had proven their mettle as true heroes. Ling Su extended an invitation, inviting Qin and the Yin tribe members to tour and enjoy the majestic scenery of the Snow Wolf tribe. At the awe-inspiring Totem Square, Ling Su proudly announced, "This is the sacred totem square of our Snow Wolf tribe. Normally, only 10 totem poles are required to establish a tribe, but here we possess 15. Qin witnessed the magnificent sight firsthand and silently thought to himself, "This tribe's strength and foundation are truly formidable." While strolling around, Qin suddenly heard an enticing hawker's call. "Touch it, go on, it's free to touch." Qin chuckled to himself, thinking, "These primitive people are so open and generous. There's no such thing as a free touch." Curiosity danced in Qin's eyes, making him look rather intrigued. Lang Ying explained that this was the trading area, a bustling marketplace for exchanging goods. Members of the Shuelang tribe frequently gathered here to barter and trade. Intrigued, Qin expressed his desire to join in the lively activity. Ling Su led Qin to a vendor, who was displaying his wares. It turned out to be a man with wild, garlic bulb-like hair selling liquor. Upon seeing Ling Su, he immediately offered a generous flask of his newly brewed alcohol. "Care to feel it, sir?" he offered, Both Qin and Ling Su politely declined, after which Ling Su introduced Qin to the man. "This is Yin Qin, a brave warrior of the Yin tribe," Ling Su said. "He's also the arbiter for this year's autumn hunt." Hearing this, the garlic-haired man let out a praise. "So young and already an arbiter? Extraordinary." He turned to Qin. "Would you like to feel the liquor, sir?" However, Qin seemed a bit hesitant and made a counteroffer. "Perhaps, could I have a small taste?" "The rules only allow touching, not tasting," the man replied. "But you are the arbiter." He then poured a large cup full. "Let the hunt begin. I await your expert guidance." Qin was surprised when Ling Su revealed that the garlic-headed, scruffy-bearded, rough-looking man was only 17 years old. His name was Du Meng, a warrior of the Du tribe. Qin raised his wine cup and took a long gulp. A pleasant feeling spread through his body. He smacked his lips. "Excellent wine." He then asked Du Meng, "What's this wine called?" Du Meng hesitated for a moment, admitting that the wine didn't have a name yet, and asked Qin to name it. Qin closed his eyes and thought for a moment, then murmured, "What chases away sorrow? Only Du Kong wine." He then asked Du Meng for his opinion on the name. Upon hearing this, Du Meng gave a thumbs up, praising Qin's profound knowledge. His voice filled with excitement. He said, "Excellent name. From now on, it shall be called Du Kong wine." Just then, a voice suddenly boomed from behind. Du Meng praised the wine's exquisite taste and demanded a refill, a stark contrast to his previous timid demeanor beside Qin. Du Meng turned around, his eyes icy, his voice hardened. "You're new here, aren't you? I wonder if you're aware of my rules. Each person is allowed only one cup." Hearing this, the young man, demanding more wine, erupted in fury, smashing his wine cup. "What kind of bullshit rule is that?" he roared. "I am Yi Tianba, warrior of the Yi clan." Someone behind him recognized him and gasped. "That's the Yi clan's young prodigy. He defeated Yi Liangchun, the 27th ranked warrior in last autumn's hunt." Yi Tianba grabbed Du Meng by the collar, his voice aggressive. "Are you listening?" he bellowed. "It's an honor for you that I'm drinking your wine, and you dare impose some ridiculous rule? Who the hell do you think you are?" Before he could finish, a devastating punch, like a hammer blow, landed squarely on his face. Yi Tianba was completely caught off guard. He went sprawling to the ground. His face scraped against the ground as he was dragged a considerable distance. Ling Su, standing beside Qin, let out a hearty laugh and explained, "This Yi Tianba must be participating in the autumn hunt for the first time. He has no idea who Du Meng is. That's last year's rank 7 brave warrior." Yi Tianba clutched his face in agony and howled, "You bastard!" Just then, 2 figures suddenly appeared. Their tone was provocative. Feeling humiliated, feeling powerless, they asked Yi Tianba if he wanted to defeat Du Meng and become stronger. It turned out they were trying to peddle a battle axe and a defensive shield to Yi Tianba. They brandished the weapons, advertising their wares. The left hand holds the shield, blocking all attacks. The right hand wields the axe, cleaving through all things. They added with deliberate provocation, "I've had it out for that Du Meng for a while now," excitedly cheering for Yi Tianba, encouraging him to take up arms and duel with him. Ling Su looked surprised when he saw Qin. With just a glance, was able to comment on and praise the weapons of the other two. He immediately praised Qin for having such a sharp and discerning eye. These two were Luo Qi and Luo Qiao, brothers from the Luo clan. The Luo clan's weapons and protective gear were famously sought after everywhere, and these two brothers also possessed extraordinary strength not to be underestimated. They were ranked 9th and 10th respectively in last year's autumn hunt competition. Suddenly, a stunningly beautiful girl appeared. Holding high a bag of pink gemstones, she loudly shouted, "Place your bets! Place your bets! Bet on how many moves this kid can withstand against Du Meng." This girl was Lang Hong from the Snow Wolf tribe. She quickly announced very attractive odds, from 3 to 5 moves. Bet 1, win 3. More than 5 moves, bet 1, win 2. More than 10 moves, bet 1, win 5. Most people bet that Yi Tianba could only withstand more than 5 moves. Yi Tianba's face darkened, cursing inwardly. "These bastards dare to underestimate me?" Suddenly, a shout from behind warned Yi Tianba. "That guy ranked 7th last year. Don't worry." The words had barely left their mouth when Yi Tianba's hair stood on end in terror. Seeing him lost in silent contemplation, someone scoffed, "Coward! If you're scared, why don't you scram?" Yi Tianba spun around furiously. "Who are you calling coward? Who are you calling a coward?" Before him stood Lang Hong. a fiery girl with bewitching beauty. She chuckled, her voice like honey. Good, so you're not a coward. Lang Hong boldly took Yi Tianba's arm, her voice dripping with seduction. If you can withstand 10 moves from Du Meng, tonight I'll let you experience ultimate pleasure. Yi Tianba, a 17-year-old boy with raging hormones. How could he resist the temptation of the beauty before him? He panted heavily, eyes bloodshot and blazing with intensity as he snatched the 2 weapons from the Luo brothers, determined to plunge into the fierce battle. Qin cast a sharp glance towards Yi Tianba, then turned to ask Ling Su, "Can I participate in the wager?" Ling Su immediately replied, "If a wandering warrior wishes to join, it's naturally not a problem." Hearing this, Qin smiled with satisfaction and strode towards Ling Hong. The young man's voice rang out with confidence. "I bet on 1 move." Ling Hong, who was standing beside Ling Su, immediately spoke up, reminding Qin in an attempt to curry favor with the young master. Du Meng is indeed formidable, but Yi Tianba is no ordinary opponent either. Ignoring Ling Hong's warning, Qin bent down and slammed a large bag filled with red spirit stones onto the ground. The crowd witnessing this scene gasped in astonishment. Betting 100 stones on just 1 move? What a gambler. This kid's got guts. Remember, a 1-move bet pays 3 to 1. Immediately after, Qin turned to Lang Hong for a consult. "Can I have a word with Du Meng?" Receiving a nod of approval, Qin approached Du Meng and whispered something in his ear. After listening intently, Du Meng clasped his hands respectfully and replied, "If it's Jia Yu Daren's request, this subordinate will certainly obey." Du Meng and Yi Tianba stood facing each other, radiating intense auras. Suddenly, a resounding shout echoed, signaling the official start of the duel. Amidst the tension, a small girl came running from afar, clutching a large ruby in her hand and shouting, "Wait, count me in. I want to place a bet too." In her haste, the little girl tripped over a rock and almost fell. Luckily, a young man caught her just in time. Recognizing a familiar face, the girl exclaimed joyfully, "Hidaka!" At that very moment, Du Meng unleashed a punch with terrifying force. Even though Yi Tianba used his shield to block, the power of the attack was overwhelming, shattering his defenses in the blink of an eye. Yi Tianba was sent flying backward. The crowd gasped in disbelief. With a single move, Yi Tianba, a renowned expert, had been defeated so easily. He couldn't even withstand a single blow from Du Meng. Witnessing Yi Tianba's crushing defeat, Ling Hong paled, anxiously muttering to himself, "One hit takes all. How many Hongshi stones will I have to pay?" Qin, standing beside him, exclaimed gleefully, 3,000 Hongshi stones. "Thanks." Hearing the staggering number, Ling Hong's face turned even whiter. Suddenly, someone in the crowd pointed forward, shouting, "Look, Hidaka." The dust settled, revealing the figure of the young man from before. In one arm, he held the little girl. In the other, he carried the unconscious Yi Tianba. The crowd quickly parted, bowing their heads in unison and chanting, "Hidaka, huzzah, huzzah." The young man swiftly walked forward, facing Qin. He was Hidaka Lang. Yang Yongshi, last year's Autumn Hunt champion, was introducing Ling Su to Qin. But Ling Jiao interrupted him. "I know you. You're the Jadu warrior of Yin Qin's Yin tribe," Ling Jiao said. Ling Su leaned closer to Qin and whispered, "This is Hidaka Ling Jiao, a descendant of our Hakuro Snow Wolf tribe." Ling Jiao said to Qin, "My father said this is your first time visiting our tribe to participate in the Autumn Hunt. So he sent me to arrange your accommodations." Ling Su looked perplexed, because earlier, Hakuro himself expressed his desire to meet the Jiddu warrior. Ling Jiao explained, "My father has left the tribe." He also instructed Ling Su to be in charge of the first round of this autumn hunt. Ling Su asked in surprise, "So urgent? What happened in the tribe?" Ling Jiao invited Qin to follow him to arrange his lodging. Ling Su quickly spoke up, "No need to trouble Hidaka. Qin is also a member of the enforcement team. Leave everything concerning him to me." Ling Jiao seemed surprised by Qin's new status. Ling Su explained that the patriarch had personally bestowed the token upon Yin Qin. Hakuro directly appointed the brave warrior as a warrior to participate in law enforcement patrols during the autumn hunt. Ling Jiao nodded in agreement. "If that's father's arrangement, then let it be. You are the captain of the law enforcement warriors. Entrusting this task to you is most appropriate." Then, Ling Jiao instructed Meng Qin, the priestess, to seek him out for discussion, and turned to leave. Qin asked Ling Su inquisitively. Does the Snow Wolf tribe have 2 shamans? Ling Su explained. Priestess Meng Qin is a master healer, specialized in treating illnesses and injuries. Her status within the tribe is no less than that of the great snow shaman. When Ling Su brought Qin to the law enforcement team to discuss the upcoming grand hunt, Qin quickly turned back and reminded him, leave this matter to those 3. This task is for the 3 of them. Don't forget this. On this journey, Hakuro, warrior of the Snow Wolf tribe, was deep in thought. This year's autumn hunt promised to be incredibly lively. A prodigious youth pitted against a warrior chosen by Madaka. It was sure to be a dramatic and captivating showdown. At the enforcement team's headquarters, Ling Su was showing Qin the map, detailing the hunting zones, and meticulously explaining the details of the first round. Points would be awarded based on target elimination, and the one with the highest score would be the ultimate victor. Noticing Qin's lingering confusion, Ling Su added, each prey carries a different point value. The more ferocious the prey, the higher the points. After listening to the thorough explanation, Qin understood that this map was exclusively for members of the enforcement team participating in the hunt. It wouldn't just take strength to take down prey, but also possess the skills to track them down. Ling Su Kan praised Qin Shou for quickly grasping the core issue. Finding prey is an essential survival skill. Many participate, but few succeed. Most return empty-handed. Qin Shou then asked Ling Su, I'm sure many warriors are curious about the contents of this map. Ling Su Lauet Li. If the map's contents were revealed, it would definitely lead to a bloody struggle. In the arena, Guo Bao was facing off against Bai Ling Er, cheered on by a roaring crowd. Qin Shou stumbled upon this scene while strolling around. He squeezed through the throng of onlookers and asked, what are they competing in? Someone beside him explained, you must be new here. That little monster and that girl just turned this whole arena upside down. That monster's as slippery as an eel, making those Xiao clan members spin like tops. Up on the platform, Bai Ling Er and Guo Bao stared each other down, neither willing to yield. A thick tension filled the air. Bai Ling Er spoke with arrogant defiance. Do you dare to compete with me? I accept your challenge. Guo Bao only roared in indignant fury. Xiang Xiong, carrying a large bag, stepped between the two, piquing the curiosity of the surrounding crowd. When a bag was opened, everyone gasped in astonishment. So much food. Xiu Li, the judge of the competition, announced loudly, ready, begin. Immediately, Bai Ling Er and Guo Bao launched into a relentless eating frenzy. Qin exclaimed in surprise. So they're having an eating contest. Cheers and shouts of encouragement echoed everywhere. Everyone excitedly watched the dramatic competition. A member of the Yin clan approached Qin and whispered in his ear, the documents are prepared. What now? Qin nodded in agreement. 2 hours later, at Du Meng's residence, he flew into a rage, slamming his fist on the table upon hearing the news about Luo Ji and Luo Xiao. There's a map of the hunting grounds. Yin glanced at the chipped table and slowly said, is this information reliable? It's accurate. They obtained a map and know the prey distribution. Yin added, last year, Du Meng only ranked 7. The Luo brothers were even behind him. But this year, if they use this tactic, I'm afraid. Yin paused for a moment and continued. Hunting relies on skill, but searching for prey also consumes a lot of time. Many people used underhanded methods last year to preview the map. Hearing this, Du Meng roared in anger. Damn it, those despicable scoundrels. Seeing his goal achieved, Yin said, actually, I snuck a peek at the map and memorized it. Elsewhere, Lang Hong clenched the ice-filled glass in his hand until it shattered into pieces. His voice was full of fury. That bastard Du Meng. He actually dared to do something so despicable. Lin Huan and Yin also sought out Lang Hong. But unlike Yin, Lin Huan didn't hesitate to expose Du Meng's shady dealings. Upon hearing that Lin Huan possessed the secret map, Lang Hong immediately spoke up. I want that map as well. The 2 Luo brothers, after hearing that Lang Hong held the map detailing the prey's locations in the hunting competition, weren't particularly surprised. At this moment, Chui spoke up, his voice filled with indignation. The foremost principle of this competition should be absolute fairness. They all already knew this crucial information, while we were kept in the dark, completely deceived. Where's the fairness in that? The 2 Luo brothers looked at Chui with thoughtful expressions. The words of the hefty Yin tribesman seemed to make sense. Listening to Chui's complaints, and his recounting of the sweat and toil poured into obtaining the map. The Luo brothers quickly spoke up. One good turn deserves another. We wouldn't want to simply take valuable information from the Yin tribe for free. They immediately gifted Chui a bag of carefully selected treasures at the Yin clan's residence. A mountain of bags, large and small, piled up on the table. Lin Huan's voice was brimming with joyful excitement. This is the result of the art of negotiation, the communication skills that Qin taught us. We just finished our discussion, and they immediately reciprocated with countless gifts. Huan and Kuei anxiously turned to Qin and asked, "By doing this, could it affect the fairness of the autumn hunt?" Qin calmly admitted, "Of course it will." Their eyes widened in surprise as Qin abruptly stood up, his voice booming with authority. "I am an enforcement warrior, and I cannot tolerate this breach of fairness." Qin continued, outlining his plan. "We will distribute this map to all the warriors participating in the hunt, so that everyone has access to the information within." All three expressed great satisfaction and delight with this idea. Everyone having a copy of the game map ensures absolute fairness. Another grand feast is in the making. Qin found the primitive people's way of thinking quite simple. With just a little cunning, he could easily manipulate them. Everything's going according to plan. Nothing will go wrong. Suddenly, Chui rushed in, flustered, to report to Qin. Just now, during conversation, the Luo brothers accidentally revealed that the most outstanding warrior from this year's autumn hunt wasn't Lang Jiao, but a warrior from the Lu tribe named Lu Jiang. At that moment, Lu Jiang was diligently trained. He ordered others to shoot a volley of arrows towards him. Then, with incredible speed, he used his twin swords to defend, deflecting all the incoming sharp arrows. As soon as he finished his display, Hakuro from the Shuelang tribe's voice boomed with impressed praise. "Not bad, you've improved." Finding a worthy opponent to hone his skills was becoming increasingly difficult. Lu Jiang looked puzzled upon hearing that Hakuro had left, because before leaving, he had a few words for me. Hakuro explained, "You don't understand why I insisted on you participating in this year's autumn hunt." Lu Jiang admitted he didn't understand Hakuro's intentions, but he believed Hakuro must have his own reasons. Hakuro continued, "Actually, it's because Medaka has matured." Hearing the name Medaka, Lu Jiang's curiosity intensified. At the sacrificial altar for the autumn hunt, participating warriors stood shoulder to shoulder, chanting slogans relentlessly. Haga, Hoga. Lang Su stood atop the altar, holding up a map, declaring the hunting grounds to be the deep, dark Shuelang forest. The forest had been divided into 4 zones by the enforcement team. The warriors were free to hunt in any zone they chose. Before nightfall, bringing your spoils to the altar will earn you points. The red circles shown on the map are temporary holding areas for your prey during the hunt. Any fighting or stealing of prey within these areas is strictly forbidden. Anyone who violates this rule will be disqualified and expelled for the hunting grounds. Yin Qin, Ling Fu, Hung Da, and Hung Er will each guard a corner of the hunting grounds. Standing tall as the leader of the enforcement team, Lang Su shouted, "Fight for glory! It's time to prove your strength." The crowd erupted in a frenzy of cheers for the Haga tribe. Haga, Haga, Haga. Their thunderous cries echoed throughout the Shuelang forest. All the participants surged forward, quickly disappearing beyond the gates of the hunting grounds. Perched on Qin's shoulder, Guobao chirped excitedly. "Isa." Qin quickly understood. Guobao wanted to explore on its own. Inside the hunting grounds, Guobao dashed off eagerly. Qin instructed Qin, "Advise Guobao not to leave the safe zone." Hidden in a dark corner, a giant black panther was desperately fleeing relentless pursuit. The hunter's excited shouts and cries echoed behind him. Suddenly, 2 eerie vines appeared out of thin air, blocking the beast's escape route. In an instant, several sharp spears flew from afar, piercing the black panther's body. Unable to dodge in time, the animal quickly collapsed to the ground. For warriors involved in the hunt descended from above. They all felt incredibly lucky to have captured such valuable prey upon arrival. "This panther is definitely worth 10 points, an excited voice rang out. Suddenly, another voice boomed from above, making the group jump and look up in unison. They realized it was the Xiu tribe standing in the high treetops. Bai Ling Er, with an icy expression, spoke in a commanding voice. "Will you surrender the prey willingly, or will we have to take it by force?" The group below, undeterred, responded defiantly. "You want to take our prey? You'll have to go through us first to get to him. Hearing this, Xioli let out a scornful laugh. This is your choice. He thoroughly enjoys crushing stubborn fools like you. In the blink of an eye, the entire group below was defeated by Xioli, lying face down on the ground, their faces bruised and battered. Bai Ling Air calmly spoke. The prey is ours now. The weak can only resign themselves to being trampled underfoot by the strong. This is the true autumn hunt. But to their surprise, the deer tribe discovered their freshly captured prey had vanished in a thin air. Bai Ling Air quickly realized what happened. Some mysterious figure had boldly snatched their prize right from under their noses. They immediately launched a pursuit. With incredible speed, Bai Ling Air cut off the thief's escape route. The encirclement tightened. Bai Ling Air roared in fury. Who dares steal my prey? The grass ahead rustled and swayed. Guobao emerged, his face a mask of indignation. Sensing Guobao's hostile intent, Bai Ling Air quickly calmed herself and proposed a hunting partnership. Let's hunt the prey together. If you catch it, we'll split it evenly. If we catch it together, you'll still get half. It's a great deal for you. Hearing this, Guobao, though not fully understanding, happily nodded in agreement. The anger on his face gradually dissipated. Bai Ling Air picked up Guobao and said, "All right, it's settled then. Let's go." Inwardly, Bai Ling Air smirked, pleased with herself for tricking Guobao. He's not qualified to participate in this hunt, and when it's all over, all the prey will count towards the Xiao clan's points. Half an hour later, a warrior carrying trophies on his shoulder flew towards them. Behind him, a clamor of chasing voices echoed loudly. The two ferocious pursuers obediently placed their prey on the ground. This is a trophy from Master Hidaka. The brave warrior didn't stop, continuing to rush towards the stream. He showed no fear, taunting as he ran. Want to claim it? Call Ling Jiu here. He suddenly froze as Ling Jiu appeared right in front of him, coldly ordering, "Put down the prey. You can leave now." Unlike his previous terror, the brave warrior burst into laughter. "Finally lured you out here." Behind him, several of his kinsmen emerged from the water. It turned out that last year, the Yu clan had their spoils stolen by Ling Jiu. So this time, they devised a plan to lure Ling Jiu here, where the underwater terrain was their territory. The two pursuers also arrived, speaking with disdain. "You think this tiny creek can stand against Hidaka?" Suddenly, from the trees, several groups of people appeared, surrounding Ling Jiu and the others. Turns out, 4 teams had secretly been lying in wait around the area, determined to take down Team Lang 9. A Yu clan warrior, brimming with fighting spirit, roared towards Team Lang 9. "You warriors from a measly tribe are no match for us. What if the 4 of us join forces?" Another chimed in, seeing the horde aggressively charging towards them. Lang 9 remained unfazed and retorted loudly, "Come here, and I'll show you what it means to be the strongest warrior from last year. This title isn't just for show." Meanwhile, at another location in the hunting grounds, 2 warriors, with snot dripping from their noses, were surprised to find a woman right in front of them. Lang Hong, with her breathtakingly beautiful and alluring appearance, was lying sprawled on the ground. With a pitiful expression and coquettish gestures, she pleaded with them, asking if they could take her back to the camp, because her leg was injured and she couldn't move. Hearing this, the 2 men leaned in and whispered to each other, trying to recall Aaron's warning. Women are more dangerous than wild beasts. Never touch them. They told themselves, women are like venomous snakes. The more beautiful they are, the more dangerous they become. Both of them instantly snapped back to reality. They reminded themselves that they came here for the glory of their tribe, and they couldn't let beauty ruin their mission. Ling Hong then spoke, her mesmerizingly sweet voice captivating the 2 warriors. She slowly caressed her slender legs, softly saying, "You 2 have been deceived by Aaron." Ling Hong's hand continued to move up her alluringly slim waist as she whispered, "Women are wonderful. Besides, shouldn't virgins like you be resentful?" The 2 stood frozen like statues, their mouths agape in astonishment, drool dripping as they gazed upon this masterpiece of heaven and earth, unable to bear the sight before them. Blood gushed from their noses like a spring. They completely forgot Aaron's warning, rushing forward to help the poor girl. "Ha ha ha! Disobey your elders, and you'll only suffer." As a result, these 2 foolish men were captured by Ling Hong's team. Lang Hong, quick as a flash, gathered his spoils, hoisting his bounty onto a high tree branch. With a triumphant chuckle, he declared, "This Lang Hong Once we make our move, success is guaranteed. No man can resist the alluring charm emanating from his fiery body. Amidst the misty hunting grounds, a resentful and hateful scream echoes. Are women truly that treacherous? An hour after the hunt began, two warriors fled in panic, their mouths screaming incessantly. "Giant boar! It's coming!" Du Meng shouted, signaling the two to get out of the way, leaving him to face the beast alone. Du Meng strained, gripping the sharp tusks of the ferocious boar. He roared with imposing power. "You dare challenge me, Du Meng, with such meager skills?" The team cheered excitedly as they witnessed Du Meng use his extraordinary strength to lift the boar's massive body, holding it upright in the air. Immediately after, like a seasoned wrestler, Du Meng bent down and executed a spectacular slam, smashing the boar onto the hard ground. Looking at the motionless prey beneath his feet, Du Meng burst into hearty laughter, confidently declaring that this year's ranking would surely surpass last year's. Suddenly, the unexpected sound of a crash echoed beside Du Meng's ears. He turned his head to look, and was shocked to find two disciples of the Du clan defeated, lying sprawled on the ground. At that moment, the piercing whistle of a hidden weapon aimed directly at him shrieked through the air. With lightning speed, Du Meng flipped to dodge, then sprang up like a released arrow. Just as he regained his footing, one of his legs was suddenly ensnared by something from below. Before he could react and break free, a figure from above suddenly swooped down, attacking him with dizzying speed. Du Meng managed to raise his arm to block the critical blow, but his leg remained trapped and was yanked hard. The deadly attack from above landed, causing him to lose his balance. Du Meng was sent flying backward. The person who had entangled his leg emerged from the ground with a triumphant smirk. Du Meng, sprawled on the ground, roared in fury, "Luo brothers, it's you again? We've been doing business together for so many years. How could you be so heartless to do this to me?" The Luo cousins calmly replied without flinching. In the business world, sentimentality is secondary. On the battlefield, there are only winners and losers. There's no rule against acquaintances attacking each other. Du Meng roared furiously, his face contorted in rage. "You two scoundrels, I'll risk my life against you." In a blink of an eye, a blood-curdling scream echoed. "It hurts. I'm dying." The warrior gritted his teeth, enduring the pain, using both hands to remove the trap from his leg, and then yelled indignantly. "Using such underhanded tactics, you dare call yourselves warriors?" Another person, also caught in a trap, was tied tightly to a tree trunk. Those caught in the traps looked towards the newly arrived Yin tribe members, who had just appeared. They started shouting and cursing loudly. "You Yin tribe bastards, let us go." A voice filled with amusement rang out. "We only set traps to hunt animals, you know. Fools who walk into a trap have no one to blame but themselves." The soldier who just uttered the sarcastic remark suddenly went silent, as a sharp arrow pointed directly at his forehead. Chui Dai and Huan approached, their voices dripping with menace. "With just you lot, don't even dream of escaping the Qin family's trap. Choose wisely, become prey, or keep your lives." At the barracks, 2 months after the competition began, Ling Fu stood silently, a bored expression on his face as he watched salt dust particles float in the air. Suddenly, Ling Su's voice came from behind him. "It's awfully quiet here." Ling Fu replied, "It's only been 2 hours. How could we have hunted anything worthwhile?" Ling Su began to boast about his prime. "In my youth, I would have bagged over 100 points in just 2 hours." Ling Fu quickly covered his ears. "Every year, I have to listen to this old man ramble about his glorious past. My ears are about to sprout calluses." Just then, a voice announced it was time for scorekeeping, causing Ling Su to turn around. He suddenly realized the person standing before him was Lu Jiang. 8 massive prey, each the size of a small hill, were brought in. Lu Jiang spoke coldly. "Calculate the points yourselves." Witnessing the mountain of spoils before him, Ling Fu said to Ling Su in astonishment, "The record you were so proud of, I'm afraid it's been shattered." 2 members of Lu Jiang's team complained. "There's too much prey. It took us forever to get it all onto the shelves. And bring it here." Lu Jiang urged, "Hurry up and check it so we can get back to work." Ling Su quickly made an excuse to leave and let Ling Fu handle everything. He feared that if he stayed any longer, he would be reprimanded by Lu Jiang again. As he walked away, Ling Su thought to himself. He'd heard Hakuro mention Lu Jiang's natural talent, but he never imagined he was this formidable. Looking at Lu Zhang's spotless clothes, Ling Su couldn't understand it all. How could he have gathered so many trophies? For hours after the hunting competition began at the encampment, overseen by Qin Jun, a warrior was furious because his kill wasn't being counted for points by Qin. Qin calmly stated, "One of the unbreakable rules of this hunt is to preserve the trophy in perfect condition. Your kill is of poor quality, showing many cracks and fractures. Furthermore, this man even dared to use a fake rhinoceros horn to impersonate a lion's claw. Such a childish trickery won't fool me." Qin angrily kicked the man away, his voice filled with indignation. "This is my first time serving as enforcement warrior, and you dare to try and cheat me? Don't even think about it." Glancing at the surrounding crowd holding their trophies, Qin warned, "You all better be careful. Don't let me catch you." Qin ordered them to form a line, each taking turns to bring their trophies for his inspection. Inside the barracks, the warriors were gathered, engaged in a lively discussion. This year's spoils of war seemed to be far greater than last year's. Rumor had it that many top experts were participating in the competition this year. Qin Shao suddenly understood why the area he was guarding had attracted so many people to accumulate points. The deeper one ventured, the more treasures and riches there were to be found, making it easier to become a target for stronger opponents looking to plunder. 5 hours after the hunt officially began, Lang Su rushed in, following a member of the enforcement team. Lang Su was stunned by the sight before him. What happened? The enforcement warrior hurriedly reported, "This body is Yi Tianba of the prestigious Yi family. He was already dead when we found him. There are no signs of demonic beasts around. I suspect that the murderer who killed Yi Tianba is one of the warriors participating in the hunt." Hearing the enforcement warrior suggest reporting the incident to the supervisors of other areas, Lang Su immediately intervened. He bent down, carefully examining Yi Tianba's body. However, there wasn't a single visible wound on the body's surface. Lang Su couldn't help but feel bewildered. He couldn't understand the cause of Yi Tianba's death. Just as Lang Su was about to reach out and examine the body, suddenly, from Yi Tianba's eyes and nose, strange wisps of purple smoke escaped. Lang Su instantly yelled out, ordering the nearby enforcement warriors to retreat immediately. He immediately recognized it as dark, evil qi, a matter so serious that he had to report directly to Hakuro. Without hesitation, Lang Su rushed to find Hakuro and reported everything he had just witnessed. When Hakuro asked about the perpetrator, Lang Su quickly replied that Yi Tianba's body had been taken to Meng Qin, the tribe shaman, and trusted that the truth would soon be revealed. Suddenly, an elegant female voice echoed from outside the tent. The victim was murdered by a dark and evil force. The perpetrator is undoubtedly a sorcerer skilled in dark magic. A woman, holding a majestic staff, possessing breathtaking beauty and a noble air, gracefully entered. She was Meng Qin, the high priestess and supreme shaman of the neighboring tribe. Hakuro quickly and respectfully invited Meng Qin to be seated and expressed his apologies for disturbing her. Meng Qin smiled gently and replied, "There's no need for formalities. Since arriving here, I have always been warmly welcomed and thoughtfully cared for by the Snow Wolf tribe. So, I also wish to offer my humble assistance." Manhwa Jalit translates to humble assistance / small contribution. Meng Qin slightly opened her jade-like hand, revealing a wisp of evil black energy imprisoned within a mysterious azure blue flame. She explained, Dai Tianba's body has been carefully laid to rest. This is the residual demonic energy that lingered on his remains. Both Hakuro intently focused on the object in Meng Qin's hand. Meng Qin spoke in a grave tone. "They're far too hasty. Even during this important hunt, they won't leave us in peace." Ling Su, stunned for a moment, exclaimed, "Could it be? You guessed correctly. The culprits behind this incident are members of the mysterious HI organization." Hakuro continued in a grave voice. "Not only our Snow Wolf tribe, but recently many other tribes have also suffered surprise attacks. They've taken advantage of the bustling hunt to infiltrate and cause chaos." When Ling Su suggested postponing the hunt, Hakuro immediately rejected the idea. He bellowed, "Regardless of their scheme, the autumn hunt must not be interrupted. This is not only a matter of honor for the Snow Wolf tribe, but also affects the glory and prestige and the interests of all the other tribes." Hakuro sternly ordered Ling Su to strengthen patrols and security, emphasizing that this year's autumn hunt held particular significance and must proceed smoothly. Then Hakuro inquired about Yin Qin. Ling Su reported that everything had been meticulously prepared. Hakuro, eager to learn about Yin Qin's performance in the hunt and the score he achieved, Lang Su asked in surprise. Yin Qin didn't participate in the hunt. Hakuro flew into a rage, leaping to his feet. 3 years ago, I heard rumors that Yin Qin defeated an evil sorcerer belonging to the Shi organization. That's why I wanted to invite him here to inquire further and have him join the hunt. A cold sweat broke out on Lang Su's back as Hakuro stepped closer, his voice a low growl. Have you been deceived by Yin Qin? Meng Qin spoke up to defuse the situation for Lang Su, reminding Hakuro of the agreement made with the Yin clan. Do you remember the agreement that after the brave warrior visits the tribe, we must bring him to you first? She didn't stop there, continuing, surely you know that Yin Qin hasn't stepped foot outside the tribe for 3 years. Hakuro asked suspiciously, are you suggesting the Yin clan has tricked us? Meng Qin quickly pieced together the entire incident. She explained that there must have been a misunderstanding. It all stemmed from Yin Qin proclaiming himself to be an enforcement warrior, which led to a conflict with the Shio clan. Lang Su knelt down to apologize, but Hakuro helped him up. Hakuro took responsibility, admitting his hastiness made him forget the agreement with the Yin clan. The Snow Wolf clan leader felt a splitting headache, unable to face Yin Qin himself, which further complicated the situation. Amidst the tense atmosphere, he muttered in a low voice, am I really expected to reorganize the entire hunt just because of him? Ling Fu rushed in and reported to Hakuro that there was a critical matter to discuss. Both Hakuro and Lang Su were utterly astonished by Ling Fu's news. Many participants in this year's hunt possessed treasure maps. Not only that, but after a thorough investigation, it was discovered that all these maps were purchased from Yin Qin. Witnessing Hakuro's furious expression, Lang Fu trembled, stammering his explanation that the brave warrior Jiayu had seemingly secretly given the map to someone from the Yin tribe, and with a simple offering, anyone could obtain this map. The Snow Wolf chieftain flew into a rage. His eyes were bloodshot upon hearing the news that almost all the warriors participating in today's hunt possessed the treasure map. He roared in fury, that damned brave warrior Jiayu. Brave warrior Jiayu. Unable to contain the rage burning within him, the Snow Wolf chieftain threw back his head and howled, as if to unleash all the anger consuming his soul. After regaining his composure, he turned to ask Lang Su, how much prey did Yin Qin hand over today? Seeing Lang Su hesitate, Meng Qin cleverly prompted, Hakuro isn't asking about the amount of prey Yin Qin hunted, but rather the amount he handed over to you. Lang Su fully ziplit. The prey hunted from 3 areas are gradually converging towards Yin Qin. Could it be that Hakuro intends to hoard all the prey for himself? Hakuro coldly stated, if he has the ability to seize all the points, then let him do as he pleases. Lang Su worried, but warrior Jiazu revealed the map. This is unfair. Meng Qin, the silent priestess, finally spoke. This hunt is absolutely fair. Only when everyone possesses a map can it be called fair. Hearing Meng Qin Shui's sharp analysis, Lang tribe chief suddenly realized the loophole in the hunting rules. He immediately commanded, from this moment forward, each tribe will receive a map. Lang Su remained worried. If the results are announced as before, I fear Yin Qin will face the wrath of the other warriors. Rabada's points? Snow Wolf tribe chief replied calmly. So what? He's the one who caused this whole mess. Must I clean up his mess again? Because of Qin's status as a Jiayu brave, Shuelang, the chieftain, couldn't directly interfere, but he understood those who participated in the hunt wouldn't let him off easily. He wanted Qin to deal with the consequences himself, curious to see how long he could last. Meanwhile, beside the crackling bonfire, Qin was merrily singing and roasting meat with the Yin tribe. Seeing Ye's confusion about Guobao's anger, Qin explained. Lang Su recounted how Guobao and a girl had hunted together, but when she offered all the spoils to the GFA brave, Guobao flew into a rage. Looking at Guobao's indignant expression, they both predicted the Xiu tribe was in for big trouble. As Lang Su passed by, Qin quickly called out to the captain. Seeing Qin approach, A terrified Lang Su stammered, "This, I—" Suddenly, old Qin spun around and fled. As he ran, he yelled, "Hakuro is looking for me!" Qin furrowed his brow in confusion. Hadn't he just come from Hakuro's place? Koi approached Qin and whispered in his ear, "The task you entrusted me with is complete." Koi continued, his voice filled with excitement. "Just as you predicted. When I revealed to them that you had information about the upcoming matches, they immediately agreed to hand over the items without hesitation. As per Qin's request, each member of the group ended up with 50 redstones. The next morning at the hunting altar, Hakuro spoke with praise. Everyone performed exceptionally well in yesterday's hunt. The enforcement team has tallied all the spoils. After announcing the results, the battle for the totem officially began. Hakuro's presence surprised everyone. In previous years, he usually only appeared from the third or even fourth round. Someone who seemed knowledgeable about the situation began to explain. Rumor has it that the Qingman tribe has activated the 4 totem pillars. By echo, this great person's early appearance is likely due to this significant event. Everyone started buzzing with excited chatter and speculation. They believed that this year's totem competition would undoubtedly be incredibly fierce and brutal. Seeing Qin standing with the Yin tribe members beneath the altar, Huan couldn't help but voice his confusion. "Shouldn't you be with the enforcement team on the altar? Why are you here?" Lost in thought, Qin recalled Yan's instructions before his departure. "The first thing you must do upon arriving at the Snow Wolf tribe is to find—" By echo, suddenly, the crowd erupted in enthusiastic cheers. They roared as they saw the prey being brought to the scoring area. The scores for the Yu tribe and the 3 tribes alliance were quickly announced. Someone recognized the Yu tribe as the ones who had ambushed Lang Jiao. The person beside him exclaimed, Lang Jiao was rumored to possess extraordinary abilities, moving like a ghost, single-handedly defeating 4 powerful armies that attacked him. The Hu and Yi tribes both achieved astounding scores of over 400 points, leaving the crowd below in awe and filled with curiosity. They had never heard of these 2 mysterious tribes before. Their scores even surpassed last year's top-ranking renowned Wu tribe. Next, the score of Du Meng from the Du tribe, followed by the Luo brothers from the Luo tribe and Lang Hong of the Shuel Lang tribe were announced. The crowd outside immediately erupted in a lively chatter. How could they have achieved such incredibly high scores? Du Ming glared at the Luo brothers with resentment and said, "If you 2 scoundrels hadn't stolen them from me, my score would definitely be higher than yours." The Luo brothers immediately retorted, "That's called strategy. Strategy is also a part of strength." Lang Hong felt annoyed, because this year she had to stand with these 3 boorish men again. The announcer's voice continued to ring out. Team Lang Jiao of the Shuel Lang tribe achieved an impressive score of 1,108 points. The crowd erupted in another wave of excitement. Last year, Lang Jiao only scored 900 points, but this year he had spectacularly surpassed his own record. Immediately following, Tian Lingling's team from the Deer tribe also achieved an impressive score of 1,106 points. The audience agreed that this year's competition was incredibly fierce and intensely competitive. Bai Linger's team's score was close behind Lang Jiao's. Bai Linger inwardly gritted her teeth in frustration. If only she hadn't been so lazy and had bothered to plunder one more team. The announcer's booming voice resonated again. Shuel Lang tribe. Team Lu Jiang, 1,200 points. The crowd gasped in astonishment. Lu Jiang had even surpassed Lang Jiao. They believed Lu Jiang was guaranteed to win this year's championship. But surprisingly, the announcer declared 2 teams disqualified for scoring 0 points. Members of the 2 teams immediately protested vehemently. "We turn in our prey. Why don't we have any points?" Finally, the crowd couldn't contain their discontent and erupted in protest. According to the number of prey hunted, the Yin tribe scored 563 points, someone shouted. "But why haven't the results been announced?" another person wondered. The protesting cries of the participants grew louder, creating a chaotic scene. They believed there was a lack of fairness and transparency in this year's hunt. Shuel Lang tribe chief, standing on a sacrificial platform, raised his hand to silence the crowd. Lu Zhang's achievement, he began, is the highest record ever in our Shuelang tribe's history. We all believed he would be this year's champion, he continued. And all of you are about to witness a great miracle. The team with the highest score this year has achieved a total of 8,215 points, he announced. The crowd below immediately erupted in a buzz of excited chatter. Everyone was curious to know just who had achieved such an astounding score. Chui, standing beside Qin, wondered, who in the world is that powerful? Qin was also completely surprised and astonished. He had never heard of this mysterious master. The Shuelang tribe chief continued, the team that achieved this highest score comes from a great tribe. Their team leader is also participating in this year's hunt for the first time. This young man had led a team consistently at the bottom of the rankings for years and achieved an unprecedented and resounding victory. Qin and the Yin clan members behind him were all stunned, their jaws dropping in disbelief upon hearing that their Team 5 had won the championship in this year's autumn hunt. Chief Shuelang's announcement left everyone in attendance shocked and in disbelief. Immediate and vehement protests erupted. No one could believe that his team could have possibly achieved 8,000 points. Suddenly, a shout rang out. Yin Qin wasn't even a member of the enforcement team. The crowd, robbed of their spoils, couldn't contain their fury. They roared, Yin Qin tricked us. He's not an enforcement warrior at all. He stole all of our prey. No wonder our scores were 0. Ling Jiao, hearing the curses directed at Yin Qin, cracked a knowing smile and said, this isn't underhanded, it's strategy. For him, in this hunt, any means were justified. Achieving the final result was all that mattered. A staggering score of over 8,000 points belonged to the Yin clan, an astounding number. He officially declared Yin Qin's team the champions. Bai Ling Ia, hands on her hips, voice laced with both frustration and admiration, said, Qin, you're truly formidable. You even know how to play the game better than I do. Before joining this hunt, I thought this place would be incredibly dull, but I never expected to witness such an entertaining performance. Lu Jiang remained silent, his gaze fixed intently on Yin Qin, as if contemplating an impending confrontation. Looking at the surrounding crowd with their indignant faces, he knew they wanted nothing more than to tear him apart. Koi and DM were still in shock, unable to believe the Yin clan had claimed the top spot. Qin suddenly spoke, his expression as if he had understood everything. I get it now. Just as Qin had suspected, everyone knew about his identity as a law enforcement warrior. Even if there was a misunderstanding, Lang Su couldn't not report the incident. Therefore, it could only be that old Hakuro was scheming. Witnessing the crowd glaring at Yin Qin with resentment, Lang Su subtly asked Hakuro if he should step in and clarify things. He immediately refused. Qin is the wandering warrior that Yin mentioned to me. He's very strong. Taking this opportunity, Suilang, I want to see just how strong this Yin Qin really is. Qin saw the surrounding people endlessly insulting and cursing him and his people. He roared, shut up. Qin declared boldly, according to the rules of the hunt, these 8,215 points belong to our Yin tribe. Thank you, Lord Hakuro. We'll accept this spoil of war. Hearing this, the crowd became even more furious. They yelled, shameless, return the prey to us. It's ours. Lin Huan began to feel that the Yin tribe's actions were a bit too tyrannical. Koi and DM reassured him, advising him not to worry too much. Just follow Qin's plan and everything will be fine. After all, the championship now belongs to our Yin clan. Clan leader Shuelang never expected that Qin would dare to take first place. He found this young man more and more intriguing. Yin Qin and his teammates stepped onto the sacrificial altar, listening to Hakuro's congratulatory words for achieving an unprecedented feat in the history of the hunt. Qin scratched his head, modestly replying that it was all thanks to Hakuro's help. Without your instructions, who would dare let me join the enforcement team? Hearing Qin trying to shift all the credit to Hakuro, the crowd below roared in indignation. How could it be Hakuro's order? We don't believe it. Yin Qin is too shameless. At this moment, Qin, with a cunning and confident expression, provoked the crowd. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. What matters is that according to the rules, the Yin clan will be allowed to enter the contested zone to seize the first totem. Anyone who disagrees, step forward and fight. The rules of the second stage. Capture the totem poles. An urgent announcement was made to all participants. Among those 10 towering totem poles, only 4 contain the true power of the totem. Depending on the abilities of each team, Whichever team captures a true totem pole, the power of the totem will belong to that tribe. Seeing Qin stroll leisurely as if sightseeing, Shui hurriedly urged him, "We need to move faster. Otherwise, the other teams will overtake us." Dian nodded in agreement. "Those guys are definitely lurking, waiting to tear us apart." Linny suddenly had the idea to find a hiding place, waiting for the right opportunity to seize a totem pole. Hearing this, Yuan Qin countered, "Has anyone ever seen a wandering warrior hiding like a coward, dodging the enemy?" This time, Qin decided to shed his weak facade and reveal his true strength. "This punk is just here to exploit the authority of an enforcement warrior, to seek personal gain. If he doesn't get his way, he'll resort to violence." Qin sternly addressed his 3 teammates. "For the glory of our tribe, we cannot show any weakness. From this moment forward, we will engage in open competition." Shui and Yin were filled with excitement and anticipation. Lin Huan spoke up with a hint of doubt. "Should we set up traps immediately?" Hearing Lin Huan's question, Qin voiced his opinion. "This time, we won't use the trapping tactic. We'll switch to a completely new strategy, laying in wait and letting the enemy walk into our trap." Meanwhile, elsewhere, Bai Ling'er's team was moving and engaged in a lively discussion. Hu Lang felt the terrain was too treacherous and complex. Fearing it would take a long time to find the totem pole, Hu Li proposed a bolder approach. They should just take what they needed. If we encounter something we need, we'll take it. Bai Ling'er seemed very pleased with the plan that Hu Lu had just proposed. They had barely started their journey when her group unexpectedly ran into Yan's team. Qin, as if anticipating this, stood blocking the path, waiting for them. Hearing Bai Ling'er's questioning tone, Qin replied, explaining that he had been waiting there for a long time, specifically to meet her. Bai Ling'er stared at him blankly, confusion written all over her face. She couldn't understand why Qin was speaking to her so casually, as if he had been expecting her, as if there was some sort of close relationship between them. Noticing the bewilderment on her beautiful face, Qin quickly clarified his intentions. He wanted to collaborate with Bai Ling'er's group. Hearing Qin's proposal for collaboration, with the goal of seizing valuable treasures from the other participants in the hunt, Bai Ling'er immediately expressed great interest. Qin continued, firmly asserting that he wasn't easily fooled, unlike those other foolish individuals. He then gestured towards Guobao as a way to demonstrate his absolute confidence. Bai Ling'er and retorted, asking Qin what made him think she would agree to his proposal. Qin confidently asserted that he was the only one who knew the locations of all the totem poles. In the second round, Qin's words left Bai Ling'er's group wavering between belief and suspicion. However, they recalled that Qin was once a member of the enforcement team, so it wasn't surprising that he had this insider information. Bai Ling'er decided to agree to cooperate, on the condition that she would be the leader of the alliance. Qin, immediately displeased, turned to leave and seek another team to work with. Seeing Qin's resolute attitude, Bai Ling'er humbled herself and stammered, "Wait, don't go. Let's renegotiate. We can give up the leadership position." Knowing that everything was going according to plan, Qin pulled out a prepared document outlining 108 rules for cooperation. He asked Bai Ling'er, "Would you like to take a look?" Meanwhile, the dense fog in the forest grew thicker, blanketing the area and obscuring everyone's vision. Boon Tai's group from the Boon tribe was frantically searching everywhere for Yin Qin, seeking revenge. Boon Tai roared in fury. He gnashed his teeth. "Today, I will unleash my rage. Not a single member of the Yin tribe will be left alive." Suddenly, Boon Tai spotted a flickering firelight ahead. Looking closer, he recognized Yin Qin calmly roasting meat. He was sitting there, casually grilling meat. Boon Tai found this strange. Yin Qin should be hiding. Why would he be so brazenly sitting in broad daylight? As 2 of his men were about to charge forward, Boon Tai quickly stopped them. He suspected Yin Qin was playing a trick. They needed to assess the situation first, wait for the right moment to strike a decisive blow, a blow that would leave him no chance to react. He commanded, but as 3 of them moved towards the bushes for an ambush, a head suddenly popped out, telling them to move along. This spot's taken. The Tai tribe was reluctantly forced to seek another hiding place, but it seemed enemies lay in wait everywhere, hoping to ensnare Yin Qin. Desperate, they were forced to climb high into the treetops for refuge. Looking down from above, they spotted countless troops, patiently waiting for the opportune moment to strike down Yin Qin. Meanwhile, Qin was still clinging to life. Qin Wan sat leisurely, his grilled meat nearly cooked to perfection. The tantalizing aroma of the barbecue wafted on the breeze, making the Thai bandits' stomachs rumble uncontrollably. Before they could react, they spotted figures lurking in ambush. Suddenly, the hidden assailants sprang up, brandishing their weapons and charging fiercely. Yin Qin, the Thai leader, immediately signaled his men to attack. Qin Wan remained calmly seated, a cunning smile playing on his lips. The charging warrior suddenly felt the sun blocked out, as if the entire sky had plunged into darkness. The battle was swift and brutal, leaving their opponents no time to react. Chui's massive form crashed down from above, crushing an opponent. Dian was no less formidable, unleashing a powerful punch that sent another enemy flying. Lin Huan proved to be the most ruthless, suddenly emerging from the ground and thrusting both hands squarely into a soldier's backside. Damn! His blooming chrysanthemum attack is brutal, the soldier screamed in agony. 7 bells resonated throughout the air, leaving the Bulyuo tribe stunned, staring in disbelief towards the Yin tribe. In the blink of an eye, 3 enemies fell at the feet of the Yin tribe warriors. How can the Yin tribe be so strong? A Bulyuo tribesman exclaimed in terror, while the Bulyuo tribe was still reeling in shock. Another group of warriors charged forward with fierce momentum, their weapons aimed directly at the Yin tribe formation. Yin, with his sturdy shield, blocked every ferocious attack. Defending effortlessly, he laughed provocatively. Come on, attack with all your might. You're still far too weak. An enemy warrior, amidst the siege, couldn't help but exclaim in astonishment. That Yin? DM brat, how can he possibly deflect all of our attacks? Suddenly, he noticed Chui's towering figure standing behind Yin. His face paled. Before he could react, Chui swung his club, sending him flying forward. Chui, despite his massive build, moved with the agility of an eel, nimbly dodging the enemy's attacks. He roared with excitement. This old man is chased breathlessly by the national treasure every single day. With your snail-like pace, you still dream of giving me a hard time? Outside, Bai Ling Er and a group of Deer Tribe members quietly observed the battle. Hearing Bai Ling Er's question, Hu Xiong answered. He admitted that even he couldn't do better than the Yin tribe members. The entire Deer tribe acknowledged the Yin people as formidable opponents, perhaps even on par with their own strength. Hu Lung agreed, seeing the 3 Yin tribe members as equals in terms of combat prowess. In contrast, Hu Li expressed outrage, believing the Yin group to be weak, always turning their backs on the fat one, leaving him to be beaten to a pulp. Bai Ling Er stared intently ahead, asserting it's not that they are weak in blocking attacks, but that they are intentionally not doing so. Hu Li looked puzzled at her words. Bai Ling Er continued her analysis. The skinny one can block most of the attacks and always maintains a key defensive position. The key lies in the fat one, the guy who specializes in finding openings in the opponent's defense, taking on the responsibility of the surprise attack. If any weakness is spotted in the enemy formation, that Lin clan guy will immediately subdue the enemy. Xiaolong wondered if the 3 Yin clan members had undergone some kind of special training. Bai Ling and I asserted confidently, it's not just simple training. Even if my father personally instructed them, he wouldn't be able to impart such flawless defensive and counterattacking tactics. Hearing Bai Ling and I admit this, both Xiao Li and Xiaolong were so astonished their jaws dropped. After a moment of silence, they both exclaimed in unison, that ingenious? Bai Ling and I turned her curious gaze towards Yin Qin, her face full of intrigue. She wanted to know what his role was in this brilliant strategy, since he hadn't made a move yet. Xiao Xiong asked, should we continue observing? Bai Ling and I jumped down from Xiao Xiong's shoulder. She knew that this group of ambushers would undoubtedly fail miserably. Yin Qin didn't even need to lift a finger. She found the idea of collaborating with such a powerful figure truly exciting. She commanded all her subordinates to charge forward and join forces with the Yin tribe, with a seamless coordination between the Hu tribe and the Yin tribe. The fate of those who dared to block their path was utterly miserable. Faces were swollen and bruised. Clothes and belongings were stripped clean. Hu Xiong, standing beside Yin, asked curiously. You possess such incredible skills. So why have you always been at the bottom of the rankings in previous years? Yin honestly replied, we've been trained by Qin for a whole year. That's why we have the strength we do today. Bai Ling Er, walking beside Qin, spoke with a clear voice. This is the first time I've witnessed a traveling warrior like you. Not only exceptionally brave, but also deeply knowledgeable in group combat tactics. Truly worthy of being the treasured guardians of the great tribes. Looking at the humiliated expressions of those who had been stripped naked, she couldn't help but giggle. Qin laughed heartily without restraint. I am, by nature, a kind and compassionate person, unable to stand by and watch those people be deceived. I have no choice but to play the villain. Bai Linger gently patted Qin Yan's shoulder, her tone half joking, half serious. Yin Qin, you wouldn't think of tricking me too, would you? She chuckled with amusement as she heard Qin Yan's casual reply. He would love to, but with her intelligence, who could possibly outsmart her? At the magnificent residence of Chieftain Xuelang, Xuelong, news of Qin Yan's audacious act, seizing the spoils from the totem competition, was swiftly delivered by a messenger. The messenger hurriedly reported that the first group, sent to apprehend Qin Yan, had suffered a humiliating defeat. They were bound and stripped bare, not even a single garment left. Hakuro burst into hearty laughter upon hearing this, finding this young Qin Yin to be quite amusing indeed. He quickly devised a plan and immediately ordered the locations of the totem pillars to be revealed to all the warriors participating in the competition. This order took Lang Su by surprise, a vague unease rising within him. He feared this information would expose Yin Qin's location, allowing all the other teams to track them down. The Yin Qin team, Hakuro spoke up, calmly explaining. He stated that their top ranking was enough to qualify Yin Qin for promotion. And now, he wanted as many people as possible to seek out Yin Qin. The Snow Wolf chieftain agreed, wanting to use the other warriors to test Yin Qin's true strength. At the second checkpoint, news of Yin Qin searching for the totem pillars spread like wildfire, prompting the other participating teams to quickly form alliances, plotting to intercept Yin Qin and seize the treasure. However, their fate wasn't any better than the first group. They were stripped of their spoils, bound, and piled up on the ground. Hakuro remained calm upon hearing that the Yin Qin team had defeated the 4 allied teams, leaving them besieged and plundered. He reassured everyone, why panic? Everything is under our control. Those defeated teams were just the bottom feeders in last year's rankings. As this news spread, no team dared to underestimate Yin Qin anymore. Amidst the faint mist in the deep mountains, a third group recklessly blocked Yin Qin's path and met a tragic end. A female warrior sobbed uncontrollably, her heart filled with resentment towards the beasts. They robbed us of everything, even the clothes on our backs. Chief Xuelang was astonished when he heard this news. 10 teams joined forces to surround him, yet they couldn't stop him. Yin Qin was even beaten to a pulp. Lang Su lost his composure. Those 10 teams were all in the top 50 of last year's rankings, yet they were easily crushed by Yin Qin. Is there anyone who can stop him? Chief Xuelang remained calm. Let that brat run wild for a while longer. Everything is going according to plan. Being relentlessly pursued by so many teams, Yin Qin is sure to be exhausted, leaving him no chance to compete for the totem pillars. Just as he finished speaking, the old man suddenly choked, spitting out the water he had just drunk. Because Ling Fu had just rushed in to report, Yin Qin had already obtained a totem pillar. Hakuro quickly regained his composure. Snatching it doesn't mean keeping it. Keeping it proves true strength. He ordered the news of Yin Qin's whereabouts to be spread, to lure even more teams to hunt him down. The news that Yin Qin was on his way to find other totem pillars made the other participants feel insulted. A fierce-looking man confidently declared that this time the alliance of the top 20 teams would not fail. However, under the combined forces of Yin Qin and Bai Ling Er's teams, the fourth group was defeated, 2 totem pillars falling into their hands. Chief Xuelang remained silent as his subordinate reported the news. Urgent news arrived. Yin Qin had seized 6 totem pillars. He had defeated nearly half of the teams competing for them. Ling Su looked dubious. Did Yin Qin intend to monopolize all the totem pillars before he would stop? Ling Fu was also filled with suspicion. Could Yin Qin be plotting to sabotage the competition? Patriarch Xueling urged everyone to remain calm, reminding them to Carefully consider the rules of the totem competition. According to the established rules, each team was only allowed to carry a single totem pillar through the stages. Furthermore, no matter how many Yin Qin seized, he would ultimately have to hand them over. The surplus totem pillars would be useless. Suddenly, a messenger rushed in with a report. Yin Qin was in the Misty Mountains, holding an auction for the totem pillars. Both Ling Fu and Ling Su were astonished by Yin Qin's bizarre actions. Atop a mist-shrouded mountain peak, Qin appeared with the air of a master auctioneer. He presided over a very special auction, totem pillars. AI who didn't possess the precious redstone could use treasures of equal value to exchange for them. Worried that people would face financial difficulties, Qin generously allowed them to enter into debt contracts using their own ancestral gods as collateral. However, this debt had to be paid in full within 10 days. Du Ming unexpectedly proposed that 3 teams form an alliance and attack together to seize the totem pillars from Yin Qin. Lang Hong immediately voiced her opposition. She didn't want anyone to be put in a difficult position. Compassion for Yin Qin's group welled up within her, because whether they won or lost, the final outcome wouldn't be favorable. Lang Hong and other discerning individuals were quietly observing, waiting for the impatient ones to act recklessly. They wanted those individuals to become sacrificial pawns to test the waters and weaken Yin Qin's forces, just as Lang Hong predicted. In just a moment, a few hotheads rushed out, shouting loudly. A true warrior, a genuine hero, must use their own strength, must strive with all their might to conquer glory. Yin Qin dares to sell the totem pillar. He's insulting us all. He's trampling on everyone's pride. Suddenly, 2 enormous hands appeared, clamping down on the heads of the 2 loudmouths. It was Xiao Xiang. He found the 2 too noisy and disruptive, so he stepped in to silence them immediately. The crowd quickly recognized by Ling Er and the Deer tribe approaching. With graceful steps, they moved forward. Bai Ling Er, acting as a mediator, offered to exchange goods for the precious totem pillar, pointing towards a mountain of items piled high as a towering peak. She declared she would use it all to make the trade. Those who had been robbed burst into tears, cursing the Deer tribe for their shameless audacity, daring to use their stolen possessions to buy the totem pillar. Yin Qin smirked, pleased with the unfolding events and everyone's cooperation. He nodded in agreement, sealing the deal with Bai Ling Er. He solemnly handed the totem pillar to her while praising Bai Ling Er's talent for attracting customers at the right moment. The crowd witnessed Yin Qin actually giving the totem pillar to Bai Ling Er. They began to waver in uncertainty. The price Yin Qin offered was too high, but without the totem pillar, how could they enter the 3rd gate of the Tuling Sacred Hall? Buontai spoke up, his voice rising in warning as he told everyone that the Deer tribe and Yin Qin's team were one and the same. They were putting on an act to deceive everyone. Buontai shouted excitedly, inciting the crowd to declare they would rather die than pay. All of them showed their determination to resist until the end. Yin Qin held the red cloth in his hand and said to Buontai, "It doesn't matter if you don't buy the totem pillar, because I have something else that will surely interest you." Buontai, seeing the cloth, realized with horror that it was his loincloth. The crowd roared with laughter, tears streaming down their faces as they watched. Qin Du mockingly twirl the red scrap of cloth in his hand and jokingly threatened to hang Buontai's loincloth as a banner. Buontai's face turned crimson with shame as he yelled for Qin Du to stop, begging to buy back his precious possession. Yin Qin immediately offered 1,000 redstones, leaving Buontai stunned and speechless. He gritted his teeth and emptied his pockets just to retrieve his prized loincloth. Buontai burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably. Suddenly, a tall man appeared, introducing himself as Yi Dong from the Yi tribe. He carried 5,000 redstones, hoping Qin Du would cede to his tribe. A glowing totem pole. Qin Du handed the totem pole to Yi Dong and casually remarked that the white totem only had the power to dispel darkness, possessed no other abilities, and that this price was entirely fair. Yi Dong. Before Yi Dong could leave, he heard Qin Du loudly announce to the crowd, "The Yi tribe offered 5,000 redstones. Do I hear a higher bid?" The crowd erupted in a frenzy of excited chatter. Everyone clamored to place their bids, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. Even Du Meng and Lang Hong couldn't resist the allure of the treasure. They eagerly raised their hands, shouting out their offers. The price of the white totem soared to dizzying heights. A frenzy gripped the crowd, each determined to claim the treasure. News of Yanqin's successful sale of 2 totems quickly reached Shuelang, reported to the leader who controlled this region. The powerful chieftain who commanded the entire area learned that the first totem, the Wind Totem, had been acquired by the Xiu clan for a hefty sum. The second totem, the White Totem, had become the center of attention, igniting a dramatic and tense bidding war. The price climbed relentlessly, making the atmosphere thick with suspense. Finally, the Yi tribe made a bold move, spending 13,000 to possess the precious totem. Ling Su was stunned by the enormous sum the White Totem had fetched. The messenger hurriedly explained the situation. Due to the dwindling supply of totem pillars and everyone's desire to secure a spot in the third round, the prices were bound to skyrocket. Hakuro, with a pensive expression, rested his chin in his hand, listening intently to the incoming information. Yanqin wasn't just trading totem pillars. He was also peddling looted spoils at exorbitant prices, even going so far as to sell insignificant items like underwear. Hearing this, Ling Su couldn't contain his fury and roared. This is a war for totems. How can it devolve into such a chaotic and absurd spectacle? The Snow Wolf chieftain, after a moment of silence, intervened and urged Ling Su to remain calm amidst the escalating tension, as panic would only exacerbate the already volatile situation. Ling Su felt a surge of annoyance when Hakuro declared that everything was still under his control. Hakuro dropped a bombshell. Members of the HI organization were infiltrating the crowd, hiding in plain sight. Their disguises were impeccable, their presence so expertly concealed that no one had detected a single trace. However, Hakuro had devised an audacious plan, using Yanqin as bait, drawing all eyes onto him. This would make it easier to identify the suspicious individuals lurking in the shadows. Ling Su gradually grasped Hakuro's underlying intentions. Yanqin was unwittingly gathering everyone together, placing them squarely in the enforcement team's crosshairs. If HI members were indeed among the crowd, any unusual move they made would instantly expose and trap them before Ling Su could leave the tent to monitor the situation. Ling Fu burst in, his face ashen with panic. He delivered devastating news. Xiongda's body had been discovered in the dense mountain fog. Chief Shuel Ling, too, shot to his feet, his face etched with horror. The teacup in Ling Su's hand slipped and shattered on the floor. Ling Su patted Ling Fu's shoulder, trying to calm his panic. Easy there. This is definitely part of Hakuro's sinister plot, Ling Su said in a low voice. The Snow Wolf chief couldn't contain his boiling rage. He roared, "What more calculations are needed? The enforcement team has already suffered a casualty. What are you all standing around for? Investigate." Ling Fu hurriedly led everyone to the crime scene, where Xiongda's body was found. Ling Su quickly noticed something suspicious. Xiongda's death was identical to how Yi Tianba had died. "It's definitely the work of the HI organization," Ling Su asserted. Ling Su turned to Ling Fu. "Did you find any clues?" But Ling Fu could only shake his head hopelessly. "Misty Mountain is too vast, and the enforcement team is too understaffed," Ling Fu sighed. "We can't monitor every nook and cranny." The Snow Wolf chief offered a theory. "Most people are focused on investigating Yanqin's whereabouts, so those who aren't tracking Yanqin could very well be the culprit." After carefully reviewing the information, Lang Su reported that the totem pole in this area fell into the hands of Hu Yi's team an hour ago. Shuelang, the chief, immediately suspected Hu Yi's team was the culprit. Lang Su offered to personally capture Hu Yi's team, but Shuelang, the chief, stopped him. "Don't act rashly. We must first monitor the every move of the Libu tribe and the Shambu tribe. As for Hu Yi's team, have someone keep a close watch on them. Find out their true purpose. If they make any suspicious moves. Tomorrow, after the third gate of the Tu Ling sacred land opens, we will catch them all in one fell swoop." The next morning, at the entrance to the Tu Ling sacred land, Shuelang, the chief's commanding voice resonated throughout the area, announcing the results of the competition. The 4 true totem poles have been claimed by the Yanqin, Tian Lingling, Lang Jiu, and Lang Hong teams. The remaining 6 white totem poles belonged to the 6 teams from the Jiang and Du families. The mighty Ming Luo clan, the twin heroes Hu Yi, Yidong, and Shueisha, renowned throughout the land. The 10 teams just announced. Each hold a pass to enter the mystical totem sanctuary. Amidst the vast crowd, Boon Tai laments with deep regret. If only I hadn't indulged in buying that new loincloth. One of those majestic totem poles would now be mine. Chief Xuelang powerfully declares the grand ceremony officially open. He, along with Lang Su and the priestess, bow reverently before the colossal statue. They solemnly perform the ritual to open the gate to the totem sanctuary. Everyone bows in unison, showing deep respect to the sacred stone figure. Filled with curiosity, Xian asks Yin Kuei, "Who is this magnificent statue?" Yin Kuei slowly explains. That is the legendary hero of the Xuelang tribe, a figure shrouded in the mists of legend. The hero who founded the sacred totem sanctuary. According to my grandfather's stories, more than 35 years ago, the Xuelang were just a small, weak tribe, constantly bullied and oppressed by other tribes. But the earth-shattering battle in the western region changed everything. Of the 7 mighty tribes, only 4 survived that brutal war. A bloody war with countless casualties, rivers of blood flowed. The tribes resorted to any means necessary, stooping to every dirty trick, even summoning mythical creatures from the classic of mountains and seas. The exceptional warrior of the Snow Wolf tribe, after surviving a life-or-death battle, was bestowed the highest and most glorious title, the title of Ba-Tu Warrior. Across all the vast tribes, no more than 4 individuals have been honored with this prestigious title. Yin Kuei continued the story with eyes filled with admiration and reverence. Legend has it that he successfully sealed away the fiercest beast, the most powerful in the classic of mountains and seas, preventing it from wreaking havoc. And the sacred relic of the Holy Land we are about to enter was single-handedly moved by him, an entire colossal mountain, from a distant land thousands of miles away. He then sincerely prayed to the ancestors for blessings to create this sacred holy land. Qin gasped in astonishment. Move an entire mountain? Is this a myth? Yin Kuei quickly placed his hand on Qin's, cautioning him. The ceremony remains incomplete. The sacred grounds will open as soon as the ritual concludes. 10 teams have been divided into 4 groups. They followed in the footsteps of the enforcement warriors entering through the east gate. Yin Xin and 2 other teams were ordered to infiltrate the sacred grounds through this gateway. Previously, Yin Xin mentioned the Tu Ling sacred grounds, saying that the most powerful fire Tu Ling was the Ju Yin Shi. Years ago, Yin Xin failed to subdue it, but this time, their goal was to conquer the Ju Yin Shi. Bai Ling Air, accompanying Yin Xin's group, issued a warning. If you intend to disturb the Ju Yin Shi, be cautious, for you might very well lose your lives there. As far as I know, to possess the fire Tu Ling, one must defeat the Ju Yin Shi. Soon, the group arrived at Tu Ling Mountain, a pristine, primeval landscape teeming with countless beasts unfolded before their eyes. Yin Xin closed his eyes, inhaling the fresh, pure air, and then uttered his desire. If only I could stay here for a whole month. Bai Ling Air sarcastically suggested staying for a whole month, unless this place suddenly went into lockdown. Tin cut her off, muttering under his breath. Primitives just don't understand romance. Just then, Lang Su unexpectedly appeared behind them. He ordered 2 enforcer warriors. Seize them. The 2 enforcers quickly apprehended Hu Yi, making him exclaim in shock. What are you doing? Accused of murdering Xionda and Yi Tianba, Hu Yi hastily defended himself. I don't understand what you're talking about. Xiong air grabbed Hu Yi by the collar and roared. My brother's body was found at the site of the white totem pole that you people captured. Only the Hu tribe has ever been there. Who else could it be but you? Hu Yi frantically pleaded his innocence. I was completely unaware of Hong Da's death. It was Yidong who revealed the location of the white dipper pillar to us. My team is completely in the dark about everything else. After hearing Hu Yi's account, Ling Su suddenly remembered that Yidong had entered through a different gate. He had no idea how. Yifeng had managed to sneak in through the east gate with the Yanqing group and was secretly observing everyone from a safe distance. Ling Su turned and left with his 2 subordinates, planning to intercept Yidong at another gate. Suddenly, the entire Mount Tu Ling shook violently. A terrified scream echoed. The entrance has been sealed. All of Mount Tu Ling was enveloped by a gigantic protective barrier, completely locked down. Ling Su stood frozen, filled with doubt. This was unbelievable. Even if Yi Dong had entered through another gate, there was no way he could have reached the summit so quickly. The sudden lockdown of Mount Tu Lin immediately caused a stir and attracted the attention of the crowd outside. Everyone was confused and worried, unsure of what was happening. Who had activated this ancient seal? Priest Xue hurriedly reported to Chief Xuelang. Only you possess the power to activate the sacred seal. Could it be that a cunning thief has stolen the key treasure you always carry? Chief Xuelang immediately took out the secret seal key. It was still safely in his possession. At that very moment, a mysterious figure in a black cloak stood imposingly atop the head of the battle warrior statue. He spoke coldly. To seal Mount Tu Lin, why resort to using an ordinary seal key? His sudden appearance terrified everyone. No one knew when he had arrived there, nor could they sense even a breath from him. Ignoring the Xuelang tribesmen's angry shouts, the mysterious figure continued calmly. If you can't activate the seal, then just undo it. The stranger's words filled Shai Ji with doubt and unease. Xuelang, tribe chief, froze, his gaze fixed intently on the person before him without blinking. His voice trembled as he stammered, Could you possibly be? Suddenly, an earth-shattering crash echoed throughout the Xuelang tribe. A thick cloud of dust and smoke rose, obscuring the sky. The enemy had launched their attack. As the smoke cleared, a horrified scream tore through the air. Appearing before everyone was a ferocious and savage monster, charging forward with terrifying speed. It swept away everything in its path, unstoppable. A young man from the tribe thought to himself, filled with fear, could this be Li Zhu, the monstrous beast from the legends of the Bai Guaiji, passed down through generations? Just then, a fierce wind erupted, sweeping across everything. A gigantic black shadow soared overhead with incredible speed. It was Bai Fong, another malevolent being recorded in the Bai Guaiji. Crashes and destruction resounded endlessly as Li Zhu rampaged, sowing terror. The Xuelang tribe members scattered in panic, seeking shelter. Bai Fong was no less ferocious, spreading death and destruction. Everywhere it flew was left scorched and reduced to ashes. Suddenly, a cruel-looking man appeared, riding on the back of a gigantic shachahoko. His voice dripped with contempt. You beasts! You've all been caged. On the back of Li Zhu, another ferocious figure suddenly materialized. He erupted in booming laughter that echoed through the sky. Our long journey here wasn't in vain. News of the surprise attack from all directions quickly reached Xuelang, the chieftain. He glared at the stranger, his voice thick with rage. You, the stranger calmly replied, Indeed, it is I. At that very moment, a dark shadow abruptly appeared behind Chieftain Xuelang. He unleashed a deadly blow against him. Everything happened so fast, so unexpectedly, that Chieftain Xuelang couldn't react in time. He took the full force of the attack, blood spraying from his mouth. Xue, the priest, screamed in horror. Hakuro, the one who had delivered the cruel blow, was none other than Lang Fu. The surrounding clansmen were filled with overwhelming rage. The tribe has never mistreated you. Why did you betray us? Ling Fu coldly replied, I never intended to betray anyone. Chief Xuelang slowly retreated, breaking free from Ling Fu's grip. His voice was filled with pain and despair. Ling Fu truly never betrayed us, because the person he has always been loyal to is only one. He looked towards the mysterious figure, his voice filled with rage. You finally appeared. Why hide your identity any longer? The mysterious figure revealed himself. It was Ling Tian. His face was identical to the three-headed warrior statue of the Xuelang tribe. Blank. Ling Tian looked at the scene of devastation before him, his tone indifferent. Indeed, after 35 years, I have finally returned to what was once my home, to where my beloved brother is. When they heard the mysterious figure reveal his true identity, the Xuelang tribesmen were utterly terrified and screamed in fear. He is Ling Tian, the legendary hero of the Xuelang tribe. The Xuelang chief's commanding voice boomed, questioning Lang Tian. You left 35 years ago without a word. What is the meaning of your return now? What is it that you truly want? Lang Tian looked directly at his older brother and spoke with indignation. After 35 long years, the Xuelang tribe, under your leadership, remains a small and weak tribe. In Lang Tian's mind, After the great Jia Shi battle all those years ago, the Shuelang tribe had a golden opportunity to rise to power. They should have seized that opportunity to grow stronger, to become a powerful and dominant force. Back then, Lang Tian shone brightly within the tribe like the midday sun. He had overcome all obstacles and led the tribe to prosperity, leaving behind their most powerful and sacred treasure. But what he hadn't anticipated was that his father, for Lang Heng's sake, his elder brother, would pass the leadership to Lang Heng. After 35 long, agonizing years, Lang Tian was determined to return and prove to his elder brother that he was capable of achieving things that Lang Heng could never do. Seeing the clear doubt on Lang Heng's face, Lang Tian burst into a fit of savage, delighted laughter. "That's right, brother. I've broken the seal of Mount Tu Ling. You want to use the blood of everyone present at Mount Tu Ling to open a new path for the Shuelang tribe." Seeing the chieftain so enraged he couldn't speak, Priest Shue spoke up on his behalf. "Lang Tian, you misunderstand. Lord Hakuro never desired this responsibility. In fact, he once intended to relinquish his position as chieftain to you. Your father never neglected you. You misinterpreted him and left the tribe of your own accord." The Shuelang chieftain stopped Priest Shue, his voice calm as he spoke. "If you truly desire to lead the Shuelang tribe, I am willing to relinquish this position to you. Just stop, and the position of Hakuro will be yours." Hearing this, the clan members erupted in protest. In their hearts, there was only one Hakuro, and that was Lang Heng. Lang Tian couldn't accept this contemptuous statement and roared with fury. Are you patronizing me? Are you humiliating me?" He bellowed in rage, ordering Lang Fu to attack immediately. Upon hearing the command, the two newly arrived figures soared into the air. An evil aura, reeking of darkness, emanated from them. Seeing the thick black energy spreading, Lang Heng cried out in alarm. "What are they doing?" High in the sky, the three members of the Lang Fu family hovered in midair, then roared in unison.